Alright, welcome back guys, Captain Kuba here, and today, I think this is the first, well I have done other hangouts before, but this would be the first one dedicated to only members. As I've said many times in my previous streams, I've been wanting to give my members a few new perks, and exclusive live streams would be one of them from this point on. It's been from a few weeks back now. And I thought it would be fun to do a God of War members hangout where we just talk about God of War and just discuss theories and all that. And I also want to watch this video with you guys. It's called Taking an Axe to God of War Gameplay. It's by Jason McDonald, the design director at Santa Monica Studios. And it's a talk of how he came up with the combat system, or how the team came up with the combat system for the new game in the series. So I thought that would be fun. I don't know if you guys want to have that, though. I feel like you guys are more interested in just the talk, the discussion, and all that. But we can do both. We can watch the video first and then just talk about theories and all that. Because the video is only 1 hour long, and I usually stream for 2 hours. Let me just open up my chat. Hold on. I'll say hi to you guys in just a sec. How do you do this again? Oh, here. Pop it out. There we go. All right. I can see you. Hey, Saransh, man. Welcome. Mert Ali. Perk, comment on this, on his cute headsets. Yeah, I'm streaming in Kanoriki's room once again. Daniel Kenya, how are you, man? Thank you, Saransh. Thank you. I'm glad you think so. I'll tell Kanoriki you said that, and you'll get in trouble. But if you guys want... Ah, crap, I opened Paint. I'm not used to her computer. Sorry, give me a sec. So, what do you guys think? Should we just start off with the video and then, have the discussion later on? A lot of people really wanted me to do a discussion instead of just a video, but I don't know. Hey, Wolfgang Mang, long time no see. How you been? So you know what? We're just gonna start watching the video, and we can stop. If you guys ask questions, I can look at them and just answer them as we go on, and all that. So yeah, welcome to the first God of War members only hangout. Hi everybody to all who are watching as well. But let's just begin, okay? Crap. Can I just stop this?
So thank you for all for coming. I'm here to talk about God of War.
Let me know if you guys hear it okay?
And this talk will go into some of the details surrounding the design changes to our combat system in the last God of War. I'm not going to get into a lot of technical details, but there are a lot of other...
Okay, there's got to be another way to do this. I'll start with a cool Easter egg / theory. Did you check out the melted face in Hades in God of War 3? Melted Easter egg. There's an Easter egg about that? I mean, that's just his face, man. I don't know. But yeah, let's just watch the video first. I know it's an hour long, and you guys don't have to watch this. I wanted to watch it. I was gonna watch it by myself, but I'm like, hey, I could watch this with my members or the people in the channel. I've been busy with finals. Oh, I understand, man. It's all good. Mike, how you doing, man? There's gotta be
combat-related talks that I'll reference later that go deeper into some.
I don't want to have to do this every time
here. So first, a quick introduction. My name is Jason. I've been at Sony Santa Monica for over 14 years, and I've worked on every God of War.
Wait, every God of War game?
Gameplay designer on the last God of War. And
oh, 2006, yeah.
With almost everything gameplay related.
Wait, did he work in? He didn't work in God of War 1.
And Atreus. So over a third of my life has been spent thinking about Kratos and what he can do. I literally have dreams about it at this point. It's really strange.
Me too, Jason.
But with me was a team of very talented combat designers, some of which are inside the studio right now, or inside this building, and also old school God of War veterans, Derek Daniels and Eric Williams, who were combat designers in the first two God of Wars back in 2005 and 2007.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later, man.
This game was definitely a team effort. So previously we made these games, and the changes in each game was mainly about variety. We wanted to make each one bigger, grander, more weapons, more enemies, more bosses. We'd make some small refinements to the system each time, but nothing.
Hey, Jeffrey, what's up, man?
So after 10 years or so...
Hey, Max Ford Gaming, welcome, man.
So what now? We're going back to the drawing board.
Welcome back, I should say.
This one
Thank
would
you
be
so much.
about reinvention. We wanted a new combat system that felt new and fresh. This game was still called God of War, though, so we would try to retain what our team and our fans loved about the game. So we'll talk about the path in this talk of how we did this. First, the vision. What do we want to retain from the previous God of War games? And what were we going to reinvent? So we start with the vision. And our director, Corey, gave us multiple pages of vision in the form of a book. And this was given to the entire team and it detailed the major pillars and direction of the game. All studio departments would read this book as an initial guiding point of figuring out what to do. So it had a lot of details of narrative, art, and levels, or whatever. Who cares about that?
That's true.
I cared about
Squeaky.
combat. I was lead gameplay designer. So I jumped right to that section. So
Yeah,
what I
the
found
quality
was
of the video is
desire-
pretty bad. I mean, not bad. It's just it's 720, but I guess the camera where he's at is like very far from him, so it doesn't look very
for
good.
a complete overhaul. The camera would be close, like a third-person camera or third-person shooter. The game would have strafe controls like Last of Us in a melee-focused game.
Oh,
Chaos
he shouldn't
Blade
have
the
said
most
that.
like-
He shouldn't have said. He shouldn't have said like The Last of Us. Wait, strafe? How do you strafe in The Last of Us though? The Last of Us Part 2, yeah, you can dodge, but not in the first one though. He shouldn't have said that because people were calling it The Last of War.
Funny
Anyway.
thing about Kratos, we're going to be replaced with the basic axe. UI, like combo counters, were gone. We were taking out circle grabs and mini games. And a little kid would follow you through this entire journey. So, yeah, the initial response to this was, well, how are we going to do any of that? I mean, this
Just
is the way
means
the
size
game
to
looks
side?
like before. That's the way most action games look like, at least melee action games. And the blades, that was such an iconic weapon. Like how
Oh, I
could
see what
use
you mean,
those?
Mike.
But we did a few early tests, and this is what it looked like. So we put in the camera, we gave him an axe, put in a bunch of shirtless dudes, and we used our existing tech to get things in the game. And the results confirmed every bias that we could have dreamed of. It was terrible. It was really hard to see anything. Like, look at that, you're trying to hit this guy, floating guy for no reason. This was not inspiring any kind of confidence. So the next question on everyone's mind was why? Like, why were we doing any of this? It felt like we were
Yeah, look at
removing
the
God of
concept
War
art. It
combat
comes with
from
the
God
axe,
of
yeah.
War. Everything we had been building up at this point would be thrown away, replaced with a game that could potentially feel nothing like it. So what did we do? We started zooming the camera out, and we played it again. So here's some footage of a zoomed-out camera view a little bit later in development. And Kratos could attack all around him like he used to be able to do. The enemies were starting to appear behind Kratos, so we were starting to get feedback of, well, let's remove the strafe controls. Why do we have those in the game? And of course they were asking that. With this viewpoint, no games control this way. And while we were getting some positive feedback on this camera, it still wasn't zoomed out far enough. Like, people wanted more.
That doesn't look bad. That looks pretty good, honestly. Like that's kind of what I would imagine God of War to be. Because God of War 2018 was a little too soon then. Okay, let's see what he says. I'm just gonna
And
shut
I
up.
know what they wanted.
That's
They wanted
Kratos'
that
cousin,
200%.
Krabobs.
You know, as we started zooming the camera out, you started to see all your enemies and making the same type of combat decisions you were making in all the God of Wars.
Ah, okay, I
If you
see.
zoomed out again, it would bring us right back to where we were comfortable.
I
And
see.
it was
too
clear that's what a
similar.
lot of people wanted us to do. And to be honest, I kind of want to do this too. I mean, we were just starting out here. We knew within a year we wanted to put a snippet of gameplay together. How are we going to get this done? So that's when I decided to zoom the camera back in. And honestly, this decision was going to haunt me for a long time. I mean, here I was embracing the very thing that seemed to be creating all our problems. But I felt we were simply running away from the changes as opposed to really breaking them down and figuring them out. I mean, I was kind of used to this in God of War, you know, in the years I've worked there. We had Pegasus in God of War 2, we had Giant Titans in God of War 3, we had multiplayer in God of War Ascension. It was like every single time there's something impossible that it feels like you cannot do. And that's what this seemed like. So this was our chance to tackle new problems, so let's tackle them.
Wait, Maxford Gaming says that's a perfect camera. Yeah, I mean, that's what he says. Like, it's like people were comfortable with that camera, but it looked a lot like the original games. So he went back to for it to be in close. And honestly, Max, I'm just gonna call you Max, man. Your name is kind of long. Honestly, I would not mind seeing a future God of War game that goes back to the original design, like more hack and slash, I guess. I would not mind that. And be like, oh, you're a hypocrite because you said you like this one. And I do, because it's the combat still feels like original God of War, but with different camera. But I would not mind them going back a little more similar to the OG God of War games. But that's just me. Ascension, the seed of Jason McDonald. How dare you? I hate him now. I no longer like it,
That
dude.
meant first accepting this vision goal. The game would feel close and personal. You are in there with Kratos now and not just watching him from afar. And as far as what we wanted the game to feel like, let's take another look at that vision book and maybe read it this time. And once you ignore the knee-jerk reactions to some of the details of the changes, there were actually a few excerpts that gave us some clues of what to do. Kratos was older. He was more deliberate in this game. And by playing on people's real-life expectations, we'll create a more intuitive and inviting gameplay loop. This quote was interesting because it was talking about trying to add some intuitive gameplay mechanisms to games like this or melee action games that usually are kind of abstract. It's hard to understand how to play those things. So this made a sense as a path to changing the game. Old God of War was partially about flinging your blades of chaos in every direction, hitting enemies everywhere. You could make some deliberate choices, but they weren't the focus. Your goal was to hit as many enemies as you could at once and use your crowd clearing abilities as much as possible. So let's make controlling Kratos more precise and deliberate. Let's not focus on only the issues with the camera and strafe and all that. Let's focus on design ideas on how to make this game more deliberate and solve the camera along the way.
I feel like it could be a mixture between the new and the old camera in a sequel. Well, yeah, like the proper evolution would be kind of like what they were working on. It's a controllable camera, but it would still be pulled out kind of like in the old games. So it would be more like DMC5, and I would not mind that at all, man. I would love to see a God of War game like that.
So when we think about that word deliberate, first, awareness is the first thing you have to think about, because with this close camera, just being aware of the enemy takes effort. Being aware of the arena itself takes effort. We would need to tune enemies accordingly to allow player time to take in their surroundings. So this meant slower paced combat. The blades in combat in the past were very, very fast, and this time we would investigate slowing things down a bit. And this would seem to work well with giving the player more time to make deliberate decisions. And lastly, your choice of target was much more important now. The blades used to hit many targets at once. Your axe would be focused on one at a time. So to tackle those camera changes, we aimed to make a close camera that was a balance between visibility and intuitive control. It needed to be just close enough that strafe always made sense, but just far enough that you could see immediate threats to your sides, prompting the desire to move and reposition.
Wait, it would be cool to utilize the middle touchpad button to toggle zoom out and zoom in the game. That would make it a nightmare, man. I don't know. I would have to disagree with that. Like, how would that work? You would just touch the touchpad and then you choose the camera angle? I don't know about that.
So I drew some icons.
Hey, Monar, what's up, man?
Help us out here. So this was the old God of War with the camera zoomed out, Kratos in the middle, and everything in view. And if the enemy were to appear outside of view, we would actually usually disable that enemy. He wouldn't be allowed to attack because we were trying to put everything on screen at once. This is partially why in Ascension, Kratos started to become like a speck on screen as we try to get grander with more and more enemies on the screen. Now we were trying to put the camera really close to Kratos, but our first tests had the camera this close. So if an enemy was actually right out there hitting you, and you wouldn't even see this enemy. So we would want to zoom the camera out just a bit so you can see him, but not enough that you could think you could turn around and hit him. And if that enemy started to go off screen, well, then we'd expect the obvious, like you should just turn around and take a look at him. So we implemented these changes, and then we got this. And the result was positive. People were now controlling Kratos a little bit more intuitively. They were at least looking around, kind of similar to a third-person shooter, and trying to find their enemies, and it was kind of fun to actually whip around, turn around, and keep track of.
Whoa! What about that ability, though? Like, he pressed triangle, he picked him up, and then he threw him at other enemies. Bring that back. You gotta bring that back, okay? You gotta... Santa Monica needs to bring more finishers, I think. Like, the classic circle attacks where you can just grab him, punch him, or throw him, or just run with him. You can still do a few of that in the game, but they need more of those moves. Hold on. Whoever dislikes is getting banned. You're probably right, Kuba. I don't know, thinking out loud. I'd rather the combat just be as a personal, though, and only zoom out if we need to see the environment. It kind of zooms out in God of War 2018 when you're fighting the bigger enemies.
Going on.
This is my first time seeing this. Me too, man. Me too.
Zoomed out test because there was actually a lot of other problems to figure out. So we started paying more attention to the axe itself. Because when you think about the blades of old, they had, a strong power and mythical fantasy. They had chains and they were on fire. And the axe that was currently in his hand, though, it felt like you could just go to Home Depot and buy that thing. Like it was simple, it wasn't interesting, no mythical touches like the awesome blades that made them feel powerful. So selling this power was a big part of Kratos' fantasy, as a character fantasy. For this weapon to have a chance to live up to the mythos of the blades, it had to be powerful. So let's start trying to add some interesting components to the axe. To emphasize the feeling of power and deliberate decision-making, we decided to start simple and make the axe combos short. The blades had an 8-hit combo that took some time to get to a powerful finisher. A shorter combo would get there faster. And that might make it feel a bit more punchy, powerful. It would also work better with a tight camera, since it would be a shorter period of time locked into an extended combo sequence, vulnerable to attacks from the sides. Next, to give the axe a fantasy of its own, we tried out a simple concept.
Oh, I've heard about this. I think this is what he's talking about. When you play God of War 2018, the axe feels so good to play with because when you hit an enemy, it gets stuck on him for like a fraction of a second, and then he pulls it out. Like he with the swing he just pulls it out, and it's just stories like that that just make me fall in love with game development. Like that is such a cool little detail that not a lot of people notice, but once you actually think about it, it's so cool because an axe would get stuck, but it's not enough to actually be a bother in gameplay. 100% more finishers list cheese R3 insta kills. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, probably only worked on humanoids, which is a few in God of War 2018. Him? No, he worked in all of it, man. But yeah, Saranj, that move looked really cool when he picked up the enemy and threw it. It's OG God of War. I don't know.
To enemies. These axe sticks were a concept that Corey and others liked very early, as it gave the axe a distinct feel from previous weapons and other games. So in the new God of War, we would actually connect and pause the axe inside the enemy and play an animation of Kratos ripping it out. And this was one of our early implementations. Everything was full synced animation
That's too slow, though.
Kratos and enemy.
That's way too slow.
And this looked and felt powerful. And it also was slowing the pace of combat, kind of like what we wanted to do, making things feel more deliberate. So this was a good starting point in making the axe feel unique and different within the game. You would kind of get in there with this kind of combat system and assassinate quickly with short combos.
It is an art form, yeah.
Around and find your next target. Everything we had been talking about thus far. But this wasn't enough to make the axe feel special, compared to the blades anyway. There also wasn't anything really more intuitive added by this. So while all this was going on, animators were hard at work creating animation previews for various ideas for the axe. These are just animations that they would use to kind of prove out or potentially show us what combat could look like. So one day, our lead animator, Mehdi, animated this idea by himself. So you see it has everything that we've been talking about, close camera, really short cameras, or combos really short. But then right here, he throws the axe away to protect Atreus. And slams his head in the wall.
Yes!
So I remember when I first saw this that, like, first of all, the axe throw looked awesome, but how would we ever do this? Like, Kratos throwing his iconic weapon away that we're trying to make feel special. What if he didn't pick it up? What if he just left it there? So we kind of dismissed this idea for a while, until one man named Vincent Napoli, our lead systems designer, made the critical suggestion to call back the axe in command with a certain Norse god. Prototypes were made partially with our amazing programmer, George Mall, who's sitting right there and not making me say this at all. And it immediately resonated.
No, Kuba, I meant that move probably only worked on humanoids a little. That's why it was probably removed. Oh, I see what you meant. Okay. All of us, by the way, need to invest in game industry specific cryptos and NFTs. This is the way. I don't know what that is, but okay, sure.
The concept was deliberate. It encouraged the player to look around and attack everything with precision. With the axe gone, he could target someone else with his bare hands.
Yes.
The concept also worked with our new camera. I mean, who would have known that a third-person shooter camera could use some third-person shooting? So the aiming with the reticle from this vantage point was actually very intuitive, and it was hitting that goal as well.
Okay, he said reticle, and I heard other people say that. Isn't it recticle? I've always called it recticle. I guess it's reticle? I don't know.
And lastly, it was mythical, and this one was a big deal.
Yes, it is,
The initial direction of this entire game was very, very grounded. So the axe was very simple. But this gave the axe something special, similar to how the blades had its chains.
Did you bring that axe finisher from minutes ago? Which one?
So at the end of that first year of development, it was time to put together a playable snippet of the game, and we called that first playable. The goal was to implement all the ideas with higher fidelity and art necessary to showcase the vision. So that included the close camera, showing the new perspective of the world, shorter combos and slower pace, the axe sticks showcasing power, our brand new axe throw, and a functioning Atreus. And I know we haven't been talking about him much just thus far, but he was a very difficult part of this game. Like the entire time, Corey was reminding everybody constantly that we can't cut this guy, even though everybody wanted to, because it was so difficult. So at this point in first playable, we kind of just wanted to get him in working, and he wasn't an integral part of the combat system just yet. We were also trying to hit all the key words we've been talking about.
The throwing him away. Yeah, that one's cool.
Combat, deliberate, and mythical, and powerful. So here's a snippet of that first playable.
I don't think I've seen this before.
Looking good. The art team was knocking it out of the park, and before any fights began, it felt like you could appreciate exploring this world from this viewpoint. And the axe throw was in there and working. You could recall it any time.
Whoa! He threw it sideways? What the? That looked awful. Hold on, let me replay that again. Hold on, let me just...
Was in there and working. You could recall it any time. And then we had these very long axe sticks when Kratos would actually land attacks. That felt powerful. And the combos were shorter, so you just get rid of this guy real quick.
Yeah, those zoom ins when he kills someone, like it looks cool, but I think it would slow the gameplay a little bit too much. I don't know.
And we also showcase just some basic strategies of what could happen, where if you threw your axe to one guy, you kicked another guy off the edge. So mission accomplished. You know, we did everything in 1 year. Like,
he's like, go frisbee. Yeah, I know.
Knows you get the hole in one.
Hey, Carl B, what's up?
It didn't, because it didn't play well. So here's some footage of somebody actually trying to play that content. And what you'll see is a lot of Kratos evasion and a lot of backing up. And you'll see why in just a little bit. So he's trying his best to hit these enemies, but not getting much luck. He swings here, up, hit out of it. Let's back up again. Throws his axe one more time, because it's the safest thing he could probably do. Jump at this guy, nothing happened. Okay, well, let me try to mash into him a little bit. Up, hit out of it again. Let's back up. And this was like the whole game right here. Like everybody just backing up and running away from everything. And I think that this last part of that video really is telling. Because if you look at what happens after Kratos swings twice, he blocks. And he didn't have a shield at this point, so he was blocking just like this. But if you look at the enemies on the screen, nobody's doing anything. Like he's just blocking because he's afraid that they might do something, because he doesn't have any time to respond to what's happening on the screen. And this is very not God.
All right, hold on. That somehow bothers me. It doesn't bother me, but here we go. It's off the shot. I want to see when they introduce runic tax. Oh, I'm sure he'll cover it, yeah. This is exciting to watch. It's so freaking exciting. As a God of War fan, I love this, man.
God of War at all. Like all this backing up, all this fear.
Blocking just like
and at the end of
Evil,
this demo, we showed the player this. Because this is supposed to hype you up on some big class fight that you could get at the end of this. But after actually playing it, the only real player response was that. So what was missing? You know, we had a cool looking game there, but it wasn't God of War yet. And we weren't retaining that feel. So now we're going to talk about how we aim to do just that, and the design decisions we made to ensure this game continues to feel like God of War. So first we look at that word deliberate, because maybe that was the problem all along. After all, it seems like all these decisions that were making the game deliberate was setting us on a road that we didn't like. But I believe the problem was more that the word deliberate doesn't mean careful. God of War was not about being careful. You can make meaningful decisions without having to worry about everything. So what do we do now? So we think about what God of War actually was, and we deconstruct the best of the previous combat system and ensure it's brought back into the new system. We wanted players to feel similar to how they felt in previous God of War games in this new perspective. The tricky thing was trying to get this to work without sacrificing the vision goals, so we had to continue to remember those. So when we think about the God of War feel, we break it down into a few key components. One versus many, playful combat, and power for all. And I'm going to break down each one of those categories shortly. So for one versus many, God of War was always about this. Kratos had this built-in.
Hey, you'll blow what's up, man? It'd be cool to exercise to try and guess what 3 defining words they're using to guide the sequel combat. It's gonna be the same. That's what I mean. Like usually when they're doing trilogies and stuff like that, they remain the same philosophy throughout until it's time to change the series again. So it's gonna be very similar. Only
everyone can see Kratos take on hordes of enemies and feel confident that he'd make it through alive. We knew that we had to make crowd control accessible if players were going to retain this confidence. And the blades were great at this, even while mashing square, while Axe was currently terrible. So while we were thinking about what the blades used to be, Corey told me of a thematic phrase that was used to describe the blades a long time ago in the original God of War. And I like phrases like this because it can help ground future decisions that fail to match the theme. So that phrase was ballet of fire. And I laughed when he told me this, but when you think about it, the term really describes the feel and look of those blade attacks, the footwork, the elegance, a powerful mythical fire shredding everything in sight.
Oh my god!
Twirling around, hitting all the enemies in every direction. But we couldn't take that approach with the axe because of the camera angle. We also wanted to give the axe a different feel. So we wanted to create a thematic tagline that would encapsulate this feel, and this is what we came up with. Plow the road. And because we really wanted it to feel this way, we wanted to feel like you could just dive through hordes of enemies.
Oh my god, it is totally, it's 100% like ballet of fire. Like it's just, his movement is so graceful, man. How did I almost miss this? Hey, yes again, what's up?
And not have to worry about anything. And we accomplish this partially by causing the enemies you attack to hit other enemies behind that enemy. So when Kratos attacks an enemy, that enemy plays a reaction, and he bumps into enemies behind him, bringing everybody backward. And what ends up happening is that Kratos has this protective zone in front of him the entire time he's mashing that button.
Oh my God, you're right.
R1 feels a little bit safer and more powerful into simple groups of enemies. Before we added this, the enemies behind the attacked enemy would either slide around and attack the player or disrupt the flow.
Yeah, the one in the back is moving.
Camera. This would encourage players to poke attacks and never complete combos like we saw in the first playable. So we wanted him to just shred through enemies. The player should not be afraid to track into the group because that's what Kratos was all about. The axe would do it through...
I never noticed that. I never noticed that, like the enemy you're attacking kind of bumps into other enemies and that disruptor moves himself. Well, that's really cool. Hey, Paranoid Bears, what's up, man?
Sheer power as he plows the road ahead. It also made crowd control a little bit more deliberate. You couldn't twirl around and hit everyone everywhere, but you could face a direction and drag a crowd of enemies forward. This was also a step in alleviating some of the cameras with some of the issues with the close camera, since Kratos could charge into a crowd and keep them in front of him with each attack. And you probably noticed while looking at that we sped up those axe attacks, or axe sticks, because those axe sticks were like the bane of my existence for a very, very long time. It's like they were slowing everything down, making it very hard to fight. Everybody liked the power and the feel of those things, so we tried to actually do a dynamic solution where the axe would embed temporarily, but it wouldn't stop Kratos from actually moving or rotating or doing anything. It made the game feel a lot better. And instead of slowing Kratos down with those slow axe sticks that we had, let's just slow the enemies down using something else, frost. And similar to the blades in fire, the axe having frost and ice was mythical. It would add intuitive effects. Enemies struck by cold would be slowed or frozen, and you could easily understand how that might help you in crowd control, slowing the enemies down. And finally, it gave context to a lot of special area of effect attacks that Kratos could do to attack multiple enemies at once to help that.
See, that's something. I know this is not related to gameplay or anything like that, but this is my complaint, like the lack of mythical theme of God of War 3. That's the one thing I don't like about God of War 3. I don't like the idea of the power of hope. That's not mythical enough. Like, no, that's just, we all have hope. It's not mythical. It's not cool. So it kind of goes to show that God of War 3 kind of failed in that area when it came to the story. The combat was fine. The combat was amazing. But yeah, in the story, it lacked a little bit of mythicality. I don't know if that's a thing. Can we have a grab enemy and spit them around attack just as a dose of nostalgia? Oh, you missed the scene then. Like, okay, once this is done, go back and watch it again. Because there's a move that he grabs an enemy and throws it to another enemy. It's really cool. I found that I rarely ever used the down D-pad. Oh, I never used it either, man. Yeah, never. You can bump the lower level enemies into more powerful enemies. You never notice how a wolf statue inside a world serpent is complete darkness, but you never notice that because it's more subtle. I don't know.
Many concept. So all this was nice additions to help that one versus many, but it was also helped.
No, I stopped
the
next
part of God of War feel, which is playful combat. And what I mean by play here is that it should be fun moving Kratos around, linking various moves together, or having fun knocking around the enemy cast. All of this should be enjoyable before even worrying about the enemy designs or specific obstacles you will face. So let's start with why this is important with the player's moveset. There's a lot of chaos in any game with lots of enemies on screen, which we knew we wanted. And players needed to be able to react quickly to what they see. If they start an action, they should be able to change their mind instantly. And to help explain the importance of this, I like to reference an Apple design talk called Designing Fluid Interfaces. This talk discussed some of the philosophies on making their iPhone UI feel fluid and good to the user, and there's some great parallels to gameplay design. They use this example that if somebody started walking across the room and wanted to change their mind and turn the other way, they don't have to wait until they get to the end of the room to make that decision, because this is reality. This is what people do all the time. They start an action and they stop it whenever they want. So when users are not capable of doing that in the user interface, it just feels bad, not connected with their expectations. So they designed everything in the iPhone UI to be interruptible. They described it as making the UI feel like an extension of yourself. And that's how we've always felt about Kratos. In God of War games are old. If you think it, usually you can do it. We allow canceling moves into other moves. We prioritize defensive canceling, since those are the typical actions people want to do spontaneously. In a car, you might be able to live with slow acceleration in most scenarios, but you would like to stop instantly to avoid accidents. But in special scenarios, we do allow some offense to cancel other offense if it's special enough. So here's a small example with our launch move. So if you press R2, you do this launch, and that's the move in its entirety. But you can also cancel that at the end of the recovery frame into block. Or you can cancel it right after the hit frame into block, or right before the hit frame, or just right away. And we allow this canceling because simply pressing the attack button shouldn't be a risky commitment in a God of War game. When we want to encourage players to play with their moveset. So let's look at how we applied this logic to our new concept, the axe throw. The axe throw has two primary commands, L2 to pull aim, and triangle to recall
Yeah, they
the
really
axe.
did him on, yeah.
We wanted to ensure that these actions had a God of War style canceling to ensure that they felt right. So we allow you to cancel the L2 throw, or the pull aim, in scenarios where you're most likely to do it, just after an action or after an attack. This allows players to follow up most actions with a quick axe throw. We could have let you cancel the entire attack with that, but then you might have a hard time doing combos, hitting an enemy and then following up with this. The recall, though, was special. We allow that to cancel any time. So if you look at this, right in the middle of my kick, I can just cancel that. It looks a little weird, but we're okay with that because the feel of recalling when you want is more important. You can even cancel that recall with an evade, as shown here.
Yeah.
Because we prioritize defense. And when you combine everything together, it could look like this. This is kind of crazy, chaotic, just canceling everything all the time. You could look at this and wonder why you would even want to allow this in the game.
It's so cool.
But
I really can't understand people who say they don't like the combat system in this game. It's just so fluid, and that's what makes it a God of War game still. It's just the combat is fluid. It doesn't feel like Dark Souls. Like he's talking about, you can cancel out of anything. Hey Curtis, what's up, man? These cancel attacks are extremely important when playing God of War on Give Me God of War. GBG should learn from this. I mean, he doesn't need to learn. GBG taught them how to do this.
it also enables things like this, controlled deliberate canceling. If you sidestep cancel mid-combo, we allow that combo to continue if you keep pressing attack, rewarding that decision. And that allows precision and evasion while progressing your combo. So we don't mind the chaotic results because most players won't make the game look that bad. But they will feel the difference if they weren't allowed to play with their moveset in this way, which is why we wish to retain that from the God of War of old. Next, the other part of playful combat is playing with your enemies. And we used to do this with the two core attack buttons in every God of War, so let's deconstruct their purpose. Before they were square and triangle, but now they were R1 and R2 because of the third-person camera. Most people would probably reference those as light and heavy attacks.
Yep.
And the light attacks were pretty straightforward. They gave us way to the most basic of offense to allow the player to do simple combinations of attacks. But why would the player ever press that
play
heavy
with
button?
them.
What's the player's choice when they're pressing that button? Damage sounds like a good start. It's called heavy attack after all. But in playtests, it sometimes tends to be ambiguous. We didn't have any damage numbers on the screen. We didn't have any way to show that it was doing that much damage. So how much damage would it need to do to be worthy of use? If it does too much, then it competes with ever pressing the light button. And if you penalize me for pressing it, well, that doesn't seem as fun. You could give it a distinct ability, such as breaking blocks. That gives it a good reason to exist.
That boy thirsty.
Only if you're actually fighting a character that blocks. So we wanted people.
The Dark Souls comparisons are stupid. They are, but I don't agree with. I don't think they're generic and boring. I like Dark Souls games. They're just lower games that you have to be really deliberate. Like they turn up the how deliberate you have to be in combat up to 11 as opposed to in this game, which is not as much. In that game, everything you do counts, and you can't really cancel out of a lot of things.
People thinking about pressing this button most of the time, not only in specific scenarios. What about heavy reactions? We had that in first playable. Bigger reactions feel good in general. But if there's no difference strategically, that nuance wears off over time. And that's where we were at in our first playable demo. The answer for God of War is that we actually don't only call it this heavy button, we call it the setup button, because its purpose is to set up the enemies for further attack.
Yeah.
We do this with a large enemy state change that gives more options to the player after hitting that character. Launching, for example, leads to an enemy air state that encourages players to follow up and attack them in midair.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Again, to people who say that the combat is slower, like, what are you talking? It's slightly slower, but you can do all the same stuff you could do in God of War, in the original God of War. In the other ones, you could hold triangle and you would launch them into the air, or just press triangle and then you would launch them into the air. In this one, you can do the same thing. You can just press R2 and it'll launch them into the air. You continue to do combos. You just don't see the combo meter, but you can still do the same things.
And launching is inherently playful, because you want to see how long you can keep them in the air, like playing paddleball.
Yeah, and if you freeze them, it's fun.
The significance of this is that enemies are designed to be punching bags.
Hey, Young G, thank you so much, man.
Right away. I used
Welcome.
to run around and say this in the studio all the time, where it's like the punching bag, it feels terrible, and people would look at me like I was nuts. And I didn't have this sweet GDC presentation to make it clear, because what I meant by that is that in God of War, players are supposed to play with their enemies. They're not supposed to die that fast. We want enemies changing state constantly as you knock them around. So let's go through some of the various hit reactions in the new God of War to get more details on how we did this. And I'm going to split them up into 2 camps. Normal reactions, which differ mostly in translation and recovery time, and setup reactions that are designed to encourage some kind of player follow-up. And we actually had more reactions than just this, but this suite was the core of what existed in the system, and the game became more fun once we added these back. So starting with the simplest, we have basic. And all this is just a reaction that's short enough or long enough that you can continue your combo. But if you look at that Draugr and how long he kind of sits there, especially after this one attack right here, that was actually good because it gave us plenty of time to look around and not have to worry about the enemy even after one hit. Stagger is a more intense version of this reaction, which results from stronger attacks from the player, like a sprint attack. Longer recovery means even more time to make decisions. And for our first setup reaction, we have launch. And launch just feels good and powerful for all the reasons that we said. It took us a long time to put this back in the game because we were trying to make the game feel grounded. But this reaction is just too fun. It's fun to juggle, it's fun to follow up, and it's immediately clear difference between R2 and R1. Spin was a reaction we had in the past, but it had greater purpose in this new God of War. Because from this new camera angle, positioning an enemy's backside is intuitive and desirable. This reaction allowed the player to expose an enemy's back without any positioning and lay into the enemy's back at will, making you feel powerful. Trip was a quick way to get the enemy on the floor. Tripped enemies would remain on the floor longer, giving you...
When I did the first trip, I was in love with it because I'm like, oh my god, you're not just throwing the axe, like you're strategically using the axe to your advantage. And I noticed with lower class enemies, you could just throw the axe to their legs and it would knock them down. To me, that was mind-blowing. Hey, Brayden, thank you so much for becoming a member, dude. Welcome. The only real criticism I have on the combat was the boss fights. Well, that's not the combat itself. That's just the things you were fighting. There was a lack of bosses, I guess. I hope in the next game the axe feels sharper. I want to cut enemies. I don't know. I like the axe slowing down a bit. It makes it feel like it has weight. I don't know. Lower class enemy, Kuba the Emperor. How would you say that? Like lower level enemies, I guess. You know what I meant? Like just grunts.
Decisions. And flyback was a knockback reaction. Usually flyback would happen at the end of a combo because we kind of want to eject the enemy from Kratos after completing that combo. That kind of forces a choice on the player. Either I follow up and I chase him down, or I fight somebody else. It's a nice little pacing break within our combos. And the enemy that gets knocked back hits other enemies as well, which all slam into walls. Thank
you so much, man. Thank you for the super chat, Brayden.
And with his new camera angle, we had an opportunity to emphasize our wall reactions. So any basic hit would cause most enemies to slump against it for a long recovery time before they can move again. And that's a really long recovery time. So it helps with that one versus many thing where I can knock a bunch of guys into walls and turn around and not worry about them for a while.
That's cool. That's just...
And we also had a wall bounce if enemy was knocked against the wall with force, like that. So similar to Kratos' movesets, reactions themselves are designed to be canceled into each other. This encourages constant offense on the player, since most enemies will always respond a very God of War trait. And tougher enemies will typically have limited reactions and be less playful. So an example of a reaction like that is Twitch. And this basically is a reaction that the enemy recovers from so fast that they're allowed to attack again. This makes the player feel a little bit weaker, so we got to use this reaction carefully. We had one playtest where we went overboard on these reactions because later enemies had almost all the reactions being demoted into Twitch to make them feel harder. And every day I would see this one player kind of get his soul crushed more and more as he was trying to play the game, and the game was getting harder and harder, and nothing was working. And his soul was just like dying right in front of me. And on his last survey, which is a basic question about the game, he responded with this. Because exactly what you want to hear in a playtest, yeah. So this did give us some good information on what difficulty feels good. And we learned from this when we tuned our harder difficulties, because anybody who's played our harder difficulties probably knows we actually do use Twitch for a lot of the base R1 attacks. We want to encourage people to kind of move around and use their deliberate abilities like setups. But what we learned is that we don't demote the setup reaction. So launches still work, tripping still works, all that stuff still works. You just have to think a little bit more when you do it. So let's look again at the axe throw concept and see how that contributed to
The tester
playing with
make
your
it
enemies in
stop.
God of War.
He was
So
having
to
a
throw your
nightmare.
axe, you'd hold L2, and from that you can press R1 for a light throw. Light throws just cause normal reactions most of the time, nothing too exciting there. But precision hits will cause those setup reactions. So you could hit him in the head and spin him around, giving instant access to his back, or you could hit him in his legs and trip him, giving him extra recovery time to make decisions. So just with that move alone, you have two options that you can make a follow-up decision up right afterwards. Or I could have pressed R2 and do my heavy attack. That's slower to throw, but with no precision advantages. But like a true setup button, landing this attack will change the enemy's state into frozen. So when he's in a frozen state, he's just sitting there, a sitting duck. You can just go and wail on him. Or you could kick this frozen enemy, and you can kick the enemy into other enemies, slowing them or knocking them into walls and make them shatter. And it helped us a lot because this was like a technique that a lot of people wouldn't know at first, so they'd feel good when they learned about it.
I know.
And it would give you a lot more time to handle your enemies because you could apply frost to everyone right from the start of the game.
I remember having a glitch like this playing Skyrim years ago. I was fighting the boss dragon Alduin for a good hour, and I couldn't figure out why his health was going down. Even in the play box, they still had footprints. Wow, I know, that's PS4 right there. Also, I would really like for them to completely revamp the armor RPG system. Thank you, me too. I don't want that. I don't want it. Took it from him in Chains of Olympus. Took what from him? What? Hey, Adeline, I just saw you, man. What's up?
So through this mix of
Brayden, I have a theory on the Helios
you have a lot
shield.
of fun just playing with enemy reactions with the axe throw alone. Making the axe
don't remember
throw
what I said, though.
participate in playful combat is what formally cemented it in the God of War playstyle. And all this playful combat leads to improvisation. And all games have improvisation to some level. But for God of War, it was important to make sure that it was a combination of playing with your moveset and playing with your enemies. If you allow the player to do that, the players can create non-can combos and they can improvise.
Enter GBG.
If you have all that, you can get the game to look like this. A very deliberate, long combo that brings them all the way across the level, kicking them into this wall.
Bro, I want to do that.
And all these enemies are tuned right now to not even attack or do anything. Because this was like a barometer check that we always use to test the fun factor of the game. Is it fun just to go in this test level and knock guys around? I'd be in meetings doing this while talking to people. If I'm not enjoying myself, there was probably a problem. Because if you couldn't do this, then it probably meant that our tools just weren't playful enough, or at least not as playful as the old God of War games. So the last thing we wanted to make sure we retained was that feeling of power. Because obviously we dedicate a lot of time making sure the player feels powerful. But what you really want is
this makes you want to go into gaming? Go for it.
So in the past God of War games, we always had some kind of God mode meter, and that meter gets full, and the player gets access to some powerful attacks. Often this meter is fillable by a resource or combos or combat skill, but it's also driven by lack of skill, because it filled up when the player got attacked. So even if you're getting your ass kicked, you're often given the means to come back and win.
Why did you design the one in Ascension the way you did, Jason? Why? Why would you change that? Why?
And this allowed everyone to feel powerful, no matter how well they were doing at the game. So like the axe and the blades, it needed a thematic phrase. And we came up with this: monster out of the box. And once again, we had a theme that we could look back on to ensure our future decisions were in the right direction. And the theme here was that Kratos was letting that monster out that we all knew that he had from the previous God of War games, because this was a sequel, it was a continuation. And this is the moment where he'd feel the most like he used to be. And this rage meter, like previous God of War titles, would fill up as the player made mistakes and took damage, and also fill up a bit during attacks. So this made it more likely to be available when players needed it, and ensured you get to see Kratos at his most powerful, that all players could do that.
Something Corey said at E3 2016 in one of the interviews is that when the kit would mess up, Kratos would get angry, and that would fill up the meter. That never made it into the final game, but it sounds like an interesting concept. I don't know. He was drunk that day. I agree. Like, there's so much armor, but they're not very useful. Yeah, I always just stick with one. I just don't like going into menus, man. Dude, this guy's work. Yeah, he worked in all of the God of War games apparently. I can see them making Atreus playable towards the end of the game. Something, maybe a section. You know, I'd prefer to have Kratos without the big breastplates. Maybe just the bracers, Baldrin, like the Golden Fleece, like the. Yeah, I'm telling you, like Kratos just looks fat in God of War 2018, and he's not. When you take off the armor, he looks D's, man. He looks like OG Kratos. Look at that last thumbnail I did for the video in my community post. Like, that's him without the top armor. I'm like, he looks good like that. I hope they allow us to enter to use our weapons during rage mode. I don't know about that. Oh, Brayden, thank you so much, man. I hope in the new God of War game they go to Greece and, like you said, no gods. Yeah, just humans, and they're all civilized and all that. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. Like, but yeah, that would be cool, man.
And Kratos uses bare hands in this mode, and at first we followed down the same kind of deliberate path as everything else. But we realized quickly that players didn't want to feel deliberate while playing this. They just wanted that old school feeling of God of War. They just wanted to feel powerful, and making it less deliberate actually succeeded at that. Another important thing about Rage Mode is that it provided a get-out-of-jail-free card when the player is in trouble. Out of all our canceling rules, Rage Mode is the most flexible and can be used out of most reactions.
The title of this video? Taking an axe to God of War gameplay. Just sub to the channel GDC. They only talk about games. They have like game interviews. Cory Barlog did one of these. I'm thinking of for next Friday doing a similar one to these, where it's Bruno Velasquez, the animation director, talking about it. You guys know who Bruno is, so we can see how they animated the game and all that.
We wanted this to be reliable, so when the player is in the worst states, they can feel that turn the tide when they activate Rage Mode. So here's a player using Rage Mode, and he's going to usually actually just use one button, but you can see the effect it has on the enemies, much greater than anything else that you could do normally. So when players would break out this mode, they would get that sense of like, yeah, this is awesome. And they'd have to go back and kind of be more deliberate feeling, but then they would go back to that when they needed it. It was a nice pacing flow for the combat of the game. So we had deconstructed that God of War feeling that we wanted to bring out of players by bringing some key things back. Simple, effective crowd control for one versus many fighting, a playful combat system that encourages improvising with Kratos' moveset, and an enemy reaction set that's built around knocking enemies around like a punching bag, and a simple, no-brainer method of fulfilling the power fantasy for everyone. But we still had a few elements to think about. And that's when we talk about reinventing the gameplay loop. Because even when we added all of these things, the kind of meta of the game, or what you were thinking about moment to moment, was actually very similar. So there are a few additions we needed to make to fully reinvent the game. So we already had a head start here. I mean, just changing the camera view was causing us to rethink how players handle Kratos and assess threats. But if you think combat-wise, again, the moment-to-moment was pretty similar. So there's other things we wanted to investigate. So while we're thinking about all the ways we can make the combat system more deliberate, naturally we thought about a stamina system. This is a regenerating meter that you need to attack and defend, and if you run out of it, you get tired and you can't do anything for a while.
Don't do that.
At first, it seemed to hit all our goals. It was deliberate, measured. It would certainly make you think about the attacks that you do.
Don't.
But we scrapped that one really early, and because we felt immediately that it wouldn't feel like God of War. And since we deconstructed God of War, we know what that means. We want Kratos to be overly offensive. We want your options to be available as often as possible. Defense should always be available. We didn't want players to have to stop and think too much before reacting to what was on screen. So in short, it just reduced our playful combat, so we scrapped it.
Yeah, I mean, adding stamina would have been detrimental to the game. Like that just does not sound good at all. It'd be cool if Kratos went back to Greece and met the Spartan lieutenant he sometimes talked about as an old man, that he remembers him taking a trip down OG Kratos Lane. Well, Atreus is dead, though. Like the original Atreus, you mean? He's dead. God of War Ascension is a bad game, but it has its ups and downs. Its ups and downs. Its downs was the multiplayer. I would say that's one of the ups, man. Like, the multiplayer was pretty good. And I was actually talking to GBG, and he wants to play some God of War Ascension together. I gotta start training, because he's down for it. Stamina, Kratos is a machine. I know, right? Stamina's dumb, especially for Kratos. It is, man. What kind of god has limited stamina? Yeah, lore-wise, doesn't make any sense. We all agree. No stamina bar.
Stamina is bad. A lot of games use stamina in great ways. It just didn't match that God of War feel that we were looking for. Now, there's another trope, though, that a lot of games have that would fit well with our direction, and this is why. As we started playtesting the game, we started to notice this behavior. So Kratos was, kind of going past enemies, knocking them around. Then you would turn around and get a look at everybody and kind of have no idea who you last hit, no idea how much damage you might apply to anyone. If only there was some way to reveal that information. And of course there was. Life bars. This was dead simple. It added target prioritization in a way that we never had. Kill the enemy with the lowest health.
This is something I didn't like. I don't think health bars are that... I don't think they go well with God of War. That's why I always have them taken off when I play the game. I don't have health bars. Because in God of War, you're supposed to be offensive. It doesn't matter how much health an enemy has. Like, you just take him on. I get it. It's necessary. But let me just throw you in. Let me just show you. Not show you. Let me tell you about a game that does it much better without using health bars. Doom Eternal. In Doom Eternal, the enemies actually take visible damage. Like, if you hit them with one shot, they're going to be a little bit bloody. If you put in, like, 5 rounds in their body, then, like, you're going to see a few of their bones. And the more you hit them, the more destroyed they get. I'm like, they should add that to God of War. And they kind of do with the... Is it the troll? Yeah, the troll. Like, when you cut his legs, you can kind of see the cuts a little bit. They need to add that and get rid of the health bar. I don't like the health part, but maybe that's just me. Well, let me read the comments for a little bit. That's why Aphrodite told Kratos that the gods have blessed him. Oh, with stamina? I always thought that was the same. Yeah. Kratos is... Okay, yeah, there's a lot of Aphrodite jokes now. I have a question. I know you don't want to play God of War Ascension again, but maybe someday I can play a match with you, please. Well, yeah, like I said, GBG and I were going to be playing soon, so maybe you can just log in one of these days. I might just bring back the whole thing of playing with members again. So maybe we can do Ascension, honestly. Thank you so much, Daniel Kenya. Yeah, I can't believe there's that many people watching this. Thank you, guys. Yeah, that's what I meant, Cap, when I said that I want to see Axe to be sharper. With what? Oh, okay, like you can see the damage on the enemies? Yeah, bring it back.
We had talked about life bars before, but it was always rejected because we didn't want players really thinking about this. We liked them just going in there and having...
Timbo, you wouldn't want to end up with a game that's kind of like Dead Space? Because that's what it is, like you just cutting off limbs and all that. But it would be cool if you can see more of the damage on the enemies. Yo, let me see if... Praneeth Sarva, thank you so much, man. Welcome to the members.
The playful combat and knocking enemies around. We didn't want them to overthink about what damage they were applying. But this addition favored our deliberate camera control for the reasons I gave. You could stop looking at an enemy, look at somewhere else, and then turn back and understand exactly where you left off. And it favored the direct attack style of the axe because it allowed you to pinpoint an enemy and kind of drill them down with health if that's what you wanted to do. These were added late in the project in the last year of development. But it was something that fit like a glove with the new vision, and it opened the window to the next concept we wanted to reinvent, which is grabbing enemies. Because grabbing enemies was a huge part of God of War. I remember when I first arrived in the studio, that was the thing that made the difference for me first off, is that Kratos was actually grabbing guys. I didn't do that in the other games I was playing. So from the get-go, we knew we wanted to have these signature kills again. The question was how. Previous games, you would damage an enemy until they were low health, and then a circle would pop over the head and you would grab them. We had been doing that low health thing for so long, felt like we needed to change that. So we wanted to retain the feeling of dominating your enemy like that, but reinvent the gameplay loop for doing it. So with that initial line in the sand, and especially the original line in the sand with no circles over enemies' heads, we had this idea pretty early in the project. Use meter to grab enemies. So instead of that rage mode I was talking about, what if we just filled up a meter, and every time that was full, you could grab an enemy? This was actually featured in our 2016 E3 demo. When everybody thought he was going to pull out his blades with Spartan Rage, he instead used his rage mode to go grab this troll.
What? That's what he's doing? I thought it was just rage mode, but... Okay, so he's activating... Oh, that explains it. Okay, so he activates the ability to grab a troll? Holy crap, it's not rage mode.
At first, it seemed to hit all the new vision goals. Reduction of UI over enemies' heads, deliberate usage of grab whenever you wanted as long as you had meter, and a heavy dose of improvisation, because part of the reasons why this was an interesting idea was that players could now start the fight with a grab if they wanted to. They didn't have to attack anyone. They didn't have to weaken anybody.
Okay, why did... Okay, rejected. Players hoarded meter as long as possible, resulting in fewer grabs. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I was going to ask, like, why was this taking out? Like, this sounds like such a good idea.
But this failed miserably because of the same problem that we've had in every God of War with this meter. Everyone saves it, or they forget about it until they're in trouble.
Yeah.
This meant long fights where enemies or players wouldn't grab anyone. They'd kill 20 enemies, maybe grab one, if that. So that sense of Kratos dominating his enemies repeatedly throughout fights just wasn't happening, and it felt like a big part of the game was missing. Now note, the rage mode that I was talking about before does have this feeling where it's like you could save it and all that, but it was this burst of power that you actually didn't want to happen all the time, so that was great. But for this was like a core to Kratos' character. We wanted this to happen all the time.
No, this is not for God of War Ragnarok. This is God of War 2018, but it was recently uploaded. But I think it would make it interesting if you could stun an enemy with a shield, and while they stun, they cut off the shield's arm off while dealing with the rest of the enemies. Yeah, I mean, I think God of War 3 had a little bit of that. Like some of the undead legionnaires, you could cut them in half by doing all the damage on them, and then you could just stomp them. They would still hit you. They would be much weaker, and I want that fluidity to be back. So yeah, maybe cut off limbs, I guess. I don't know. It's debatable, but maybe it's not. It wouldn't be the worst thing, I think. Hey Cap, I joined kind of late. What's the video about? Right now, it's Jason McDonald, the design director at Santa Monica Studios, talking about how they designed the combat system for the game. And after this, we're just gonna talk about God of War theories, lore, anything you guys want. Yeah, the health bars kind of take away from the immersion for me. They ruined the Assassin's Creed. Oh yeah, they had it. Yeah, Assassin's Creed added them too. Yeah. The stupidest gaming mechanic is from Ascension with Kratos having new skills. Yeah, I know. I hated that too. Hey, Alex, man. What's up, man? Welcome.
So what about a stun system? Stun system had been brought up before. God of War Ascension actually had a stun system, if people actually remember that. An enemy stun meter.
He's like, if you actually remember that, he's like, nobody played that game.
Would gradually fill when an enemy's attacked, and it would start to decrease when you stop attacking. So the player is encouraged to continue attacking as much as possible. When the meter's full, the enemy would get stunned, and then the enemy could be grabbed. But the meter in Ascension was invisible.
Yo, Savage Kid, thank you so much, man.
You couldn't see it. And it made it difficult to balance and hard for players to understand. But remember those life bars that we added late in the project. So as we were implementing those life bars, we also rechanged the entire grab system within a few days right before a playtest. Production loved us. They couldn't get enough. But we believed in this because we thought that this would actually be the thing that now would give you a deliberate way to choose to grab enemies. So when we put it in, the results were huge. Immediately, players were grabbing enemies in fights, and Kratos was starting to look like Kratos again. The gameplay loop was familiar. Attack enemy, grab enemy. But the difference was now that the player could deliberately choose strategies to stun enemies versus damage them. And we could now reward all those deliberate actions we've been talking about for so long, like hitting enemies in the back, slamming them into walls, bare hand attacks versus the axe. All of those would do more stun. So all those deliberate actions we were thinking about now had a direct global purpose that resonated with Kratos' core fantasy. And once that dam broke, allowing all that design information, we began adding even more to it. First, the stun bar, as mentioned. Then the R3 button, because we couldn't put circles over guys' heads, but R3s under life bars. That was a go. And then fire and ice element damage as well, and even more. And just like that, we went from single damage system to a multi-damage, giving players even more reason to change attacks depending on what type of damage they wanted to apply to the enemy. So the stun system and damage types emphasize another old God of War concept, which was the happy accident. And happy accidents is a non-deliberate action that alters players' actions. An example is the parry system in most God of Wars. Parry and block are both on the same button, L1. If you press L1, you'll block, but if you time it correctly, you'll parry. So what ends up happening is that sometimes you'll just try to block, but parry by accident because you just happen to time it right. And that was a happy accident, one that a player could take advantage of and turn the tide of combat. It also reminds people that the parry exists if they forgot, making it more accessible. So these happy accidents lead to deliberate actions, like finding a $20 bill on the ground and picking it up, not turning it into your local police station, and instead going to the store and buying something.
Honestly, who would return $20? Honestly, it's yeah. Anyway, he was like, "Yeah, I was drunk as F back then." Was Jason McDonald the real person? I thought it was just a trophy. No. He's the real dude, man. He's been working on God of War games since the beginning. I thought he came in God of War 2, but apparently he's been added since God of War 1. So yeah, when Cory Barlog steps down as a director, I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. I would like this guy to direct it, or maybe Bruno Velasquez. Either one of those two guys, because they've been in the studio for the longest time now. And like you can hear him talk, like he knows God of War. He understands it. I love the combat mechanic for killing the harpies on the OG God of War games. Oh, when you rip their wings off, yeah. Let's be honest, no one liked God of War Ascension as Santa Monica expected. Not a lot. It's the least liked game in the series. Screw all weapons, bare knuckles, Kratos. Still playing, but hey, I defeated 2 Valkyries. Oh, you haven't finished it yet? Good luck, man. Good luck. Did Todd Pappy quit? I looked him up the other day, and he's working at another game company. I forgot what it's called, though. I think they're releasing a new multiplayer game. Hey, Cap, have you tried or would you play any From Software game? I would really love to watch you play Bloodborne, Dark Souls, but Bloodborne more as I'm more in love with that game. Well, I'm currently playing Sekiro on the channel, which is a From Software game. But eventually, Bloodborne, yeah, I would like to play it
So
again.
while performing basic concept
Yeah, I've played 'em,
combat,
yeah.
you would see the enemy stun meters change regardless of what people were trying to do. They'd be hitting him in the back, knocking him to walls unintentionally.
How old is Corey?
But in doing that,
40
actually
something
adding
maybe? I
stun
don't
to
know.
all the enemies. So nearly stunned enemies would prompt players to actually start strategizing towards stun if they weren't thinking about it before. And if they just accidentally stunned an enemy, well, that's even better. Just grab them. That's great. So this worked for fire and ice and all the other status effects as well, and it really added a different feel to the game. So we have this new emphasis on target prioritization with the life bars and multiple damage types, stun being the most important because that's the one that allows you to grab enemies. But there's still something I haven't talked about in a while, and that's
Atreus.
this little guy.
Let me just take a drink of water
And
with
as
him.
mentioned earlier, Atreus was initially not an exciting endeavor on the combat side. This tiny kid was tagging along Kratos all the time, made it seem like he would be a nuisance that would disrupt all this stuff that we're talking about. But there were some interesting ideas there right from the start. Early on, the idea of a sun button would separate him from the typical AI companion that you might find in other games. You'd press this button, you could actually take control of him briefly. And everybody envisioned this in their head where Kratos would launch a guy and you'd press this button and Atreus' arrows would juggle him. Very God of War, very immediate. That's what we wanted to do. But power, I mean, we've been talking about that a lot for Kratos, but didn't feel like that was part of Atreus' journey. His fantasy wasn't about power. So when thinking about Atreus, I liked thinking about an old quote from Michael Jordan. And his quote was, "Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships." And that quote fit this vision. Kratos has all the talent in the world, but to complete this new journey, he would need Atreus. And so a good thematic tagline for Atreus was simply being a great teammate. And this made sense. All our inspirational art has been showing this the whole time. Kratos and Atreus were a team. So all design decisions should be centered around selling Atreus as a great teammate.
It's kind of scary making a game because, look, they made the concept art, like the promotional concept art, before they knew how Atreus was going to be implemented. It's scary. Like, they're stepping into freaking the realm between realms, just figuring it out as they go. My favorite actor for Kratos is God of War 1, 2, 3. T.C. Carson, yeah. I was watching Star Wars Clone Wars the other day, the show, and Mace Windu came in, and my girlfriend pointed out, "Hey, that's Kratos." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're right. Like, T.C. Carson voices him." Yeah. Third Puppy likes his multiplayer. I think it's a multiplayer game. I'm not sure. You're gonna have to check it out, man. I wish you could see him and give him ideas about the next God of War game. Me? No way, man. No, I'm not a game developer. Atreus is like the weird kid you don't talk to in the back of the class. Yeah, he's kind of. I mean, he gets better by the end, but yeah, he's kind of shy at the beginning. Kind of poetic how boy became symbol for both Kratos' frustration with him, but the devs trying to make him as well. I know.
So if you think about sports or your development teams, what would you consider a good teammate? Probably somebody that doesn't get in the way. A team is better with this teammate on it. Probably somebody that helps the team succeed. Teammate has value.
No shit, Jason. No shit.
You probably want this teammate to take direction, get results. And you probably don't want the teammate to wait to be asked. You want them to take some initiative and do some things on their own. And almost more importantly, he was
it's
a
all
God
good,
of
man. Don't
War
worry about
teammate. So he should take part in all the stuff that we talked about before. That deliberate vision, the one versus many concepts and playfulness, and reinventing the grab with the stun system. So the stun button was Atreus taking direction. Each shot applied more stun to enemies than damage. This made Atreus a core part of Kratos' grab system right from the get-go, giving him instant value in most encounters. It also separated him from the power fantasy of Kratos because Atreus wasn't the one doing the grabbing, Kratos was. His shots also distracted enemies, so this took pressure off the player, creating a subtle bit of crowd control in his own way. It also presented their backs to Kratos, which is a good setup because the players could take advantage of that. And lastly, that playful combat we were talking about, which worked exactly as we thought. Like launching a guy and shooting a guy in the air kind of does.
Again, yeah, Atreus is pretty much the Apollo bow of God of War 2018. Like, you can just launch enemies into there and you can keep them out there by shooting with Atreus. My favorite line delivered by T.C. Carson, "Zeus." Yeah.
It get old. It's just that kind of old school God of War feel that we wanted. But some people forgot to even press this button, to be honest. We give them all these sweet abilities only for players to forget he even exists. We'd have a playtest and we're like, "Hey, what'd you think about him?" And it's like, "I don't know, I forgot he was even there." But that's until he started taking more initiative. And Atreus didn't wait for Kratos to actually give a command to do anything. He could decide to attack, even combo, juggle enemies on his own. These autonomous attacks also added stun, meaning he could stun enemies on his own. Even if the player didn't notice all this directly each time it happened, all of this was helping with crowd control. And these autonomous attacks also contributed to the happy accidents that we've been talking about. You could strategically change your plan based on what you might see Atreus do in the distance, which is what you want out of a good teammate. So here's an example of Atreus taking part in all these systems. Try to keep an eye on Atreus throughout. He's going to come in on the right side. So there he is. He's going to jump on this guy, enhance this reaction for me. That's cool.
I love that.
Then he's just going to stun him so I can grab him, beat him down. That's cool. He's going to boot this guy in front of me. That's convenient. I'll just chop him up. He's going to follow up on that guy, knocking him down. That's great. Trip this guy for me. Some free crowd control. No problems with that. Then he's going to come here, grab this guy, give me enough time to chop this guy in half. And lastly, when I kick this guy backward, he'll kind of launch him on his own, do some juggling, all without me pressing a button. Give me plenty of time to do that.
It's like I'm rediscovering the game again, because I know Atreus is cool, but and also seeing all the moves he does, the combat system is just amazing. I don't know. I love the headphones. Hey, wait, what did it stop? Hey, what did it stop? Hold on. Is my stream okay? That's good now. Yeah, the headphones are Kanorikis. Yeah, until you get the shock arrows and immediately forget the stun ones. Me too, man. I forgot about the blue ones immediately after getting the shock arrows. Hey, Urav Rajpad, are you a new member? Welcome, man. Thank you so much. How old would you think Atreus will be in the next game? I'm thinking a teenager. I think he'll be 2 years older. Something happened to the stream, mate. Still? Is it still happening? Is it good now? Yeah, it looks all good now. Okay, yeah. I noticed that it was loading on my phone. It looked weird.
And that's when we had all that in and working. When we had all that in and working, that's when Atreus officially became a part of the family. Playtesters were giving him positive feedback, and Corey didn't have to remind everyone that he would never get cut, because he never would. We'd all get fired instead. So that's because gameplay-wise, he was talking to all our systems. Everything from the vision to what we needed to retain from the older games and to what we wanted to reinvent in the new game. In fact, Atreus himself is probably the culmination of everything we were changing about this game. So, some final thoughts on this. Determine your vision as early as possible, because if it's strong, you should be able to use it as a guiding point throughout. I'm a fan of those thematic phrases I've been mentioning, like Ballet of Fire and Plow the Road and Monster in a Box, because it's something very simple to explain and then refer back to if you're heading in the wrong direction. Like, I mentioned all of this as if we were like brilliantly making all these decisions every step of the way, but we weren't. There was a lot of hindsight is 20/20 here. Also, deconstruct your inspiration and break down the player's choices. Since we were making a sequel, that partially meant us looking back on our own games, but honestly, we deconstructed many games along the course of development to determine what type of feel we were looking for. And lastly, determine your gameplay loop, because specifically those player choices and what you intend to add. Hopefully these choices go well with your vision in order to make a cohesive feeling game, and also hopefully bring something new to the table that's unique to your own game compared to others. So for us, that started with that vision of close and personal, deliberate, mythical power. But while we did that, we wanted to retain the one versus many, that playful combat, and that power for all. And lastly, we wanted to reinvent the game as well, starting with that close camera, new emphasis on target prioritization, multiple damage types that the player could choose between at any time, and that great teammate in Atreus. And it was all those things combined that allowed us to take an axe to God of War gameplay.
Nice.
So before I end this talk, I do want to mention a few other talks that go deeper on some of the concepts I mentioned here. If you want to know more about that great teammate, our senior designer, Hayato, is giving a talk later today called Raising Atreus for Battle in God of War.
Whoa, what?
This talk will go in depth on how Atreus became a great teammate and much more. And if you're interested in knowing more about how we solved problems regarding that close third-person camera, please check out the talk from Mihir, our now lead combat designer. He has a talk called Evolving Combat in God of War for a New Perspective that goes deep.
Shit, there's a lot more.
Choices we made to actually land that close camera feel. Thank you so much.
That was awesome. Wait, it's still going on. Oh, is he taking questions now? I want to know if they ask about God of War Ragnarok and what he says.
So we still have a little bit of time for Q&A if anybody's interested in that, and then...
Do you guys want to watch it all the way? I'm curious to see if someone asked him about, because this one's taken in 2020. I don't know if they had announced God of War Ragnarok by then. Kratos looks like an immigrant dad who just picked his son from school. All like beaten down and tired. I hope that they return to Greece. Kratos will get the blades. I mean, I think you even said get the blades of Olympus. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's possible though. I don't know how they will implement that into combat, but it could be one of the reasons for them coming back, because I really do think they're going back in the next game. All right, hold on. What possible new realms can we expect to see in Ragnarok? That's actually the video I'm working on right now, man. I was hoping it would go up tomorrow, but I got delayed today as well, so it might go up Sunday. I'm not going to make any more promises. And now the premiere of God of War Ragnarok.
After that, I will go to a wrap-up room somewhere. You'll be able to find me. Hi.
Hey, what's up? Awesome talk, awesome game. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
My question for you is, it was a super huge surprise, midway through this game where it's like, I fall in love with the axe, I've bought in, like, I'm into it. It's like, by the way, here's your blades back. I'm curious how that decision was made.
Yeah, you never talked about the blades.
Was that always like in the Vision book that like Kratos would sort of discover this ancient power? And after making all these deliberate decisions about the axe, how was it? What was it like making the blades fit into this new combat system?
Right. Yeah. So the blades were not in that Vision book. At first, it was all about the axe. It was all about this new feel for the game. Eventually, in a few revisions, we knew that the blades were coming back in story mode. We hid that from everyone, but we knew. And I think the next question was how do we convert the blades to kind of fit this vision? So a lot of that came from just the third-person camera alone, because the things that we were learning about the axe in terms of holding enemies in place and keeping enemies burning or freezing or whatever, they applied to all the things for the blades as well. So when we worked on the axe, we actually probably delayed work on the blades probably too long for comfort for some people. But what we were doing is kind of finalizing what the axe was going to be, and then it was easy to apply that to the blades afterwards.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so the blades weren't really thought of like at the beginning of the project. That's interesting. Do you think we'll see Vili, Vey, Brothers of Odin in the next game, and what role would they play? I mean, I know Vili, Vey is... I think they're mentioned in Lore and Legends. Yeah, I think it's Lore and Legends. I don't know if we'll see them, though. There's just so many gods, and I don't want the story to be convoluted, but there's a lot of plot points. I'm going to talk about that as well in the next video, because there's just so many things the next game needs to address, or maybe it'll get pushed to the third game, but there's a lot of things that need to address. Damn, I was always waiting for Atreus to attack the enemies for a cool combo, but now I know how. Yeah, it would be an interesting twist. What would?
Thanks for the talk. Is there anything in hindsight that you think didn't work well or that you would do differently next time? RPG systems.
Oh yeah, I mean all that stuff I talked about, I would have did that a lot sooner. Yeah. Like I think whenever you're doing something new, there's always a lot of doubt in terms of what you're doing. There's a lot of second guessing, and sometimes that can distract you from actually moving forward. So we actually did do a good job of getting out of that haze quicker than it seemed like we would at the time, but I think it could have been even quicker. We could have gotten to some of these decisions even faster if we kind of bought into the vision earlier.
And as far as like the final product goes, do you feel like there were decisions that you made that you like if you'd gotten there sooner, you could have developed, I don't know, this system more or something like that? Oh
yeah, well, I mean, there hasn't been a God of War game that I've made that there wasn't something that we could have added at the end. Thankfully, we keep making them, so
what are you gonna add?
We'll make another one.
All right.
Oh, so it wasn't announced back then. Okay, so we don't have to watch it because he's like, maybe we'll make another one with that big ass smile. Look at that smile. He's like, maybe we'll make another. It's not a smile. That's a smirk, Jason. How dare you, man? You knew you were gonna make another one. But anyway, that was the GDC talk with Jason McDonald. Just go ahead and click it. Like, I loved it, man. I love learning about how they make the games and all that. But GDC is just a really good channel. It's not really a channel. It's just a place where it's a conference, yeah, game developers conference, where they just talk about games, and they have all sorts of games here. Like, this is the one I'm thinking of watching next week. I'm pretty sure it's Bruno Velasquez. Let me just click on it real quick.
All right, so my name is Bruno Velasquez. I'm the...
Yep, that's him. It's our boy Bruno. But anyway, Who's the Raven Keeper? Oh, a lot of people seem to think it's Odin, but to me it just doesn't make sense. I get it, he's the Raven God or something, but he talks about himself in the third person, and it could be because he's crazy, but he just doesn't seem crazy to me. I don't know, he's someone who's very meticulous, just calculating and all that. But I guess we can have a Q&A now, just like talking God of War theories if you want to, and all that. Bruno Velasquez, the Twitter god. I know, I'm kind of being, I want to be fair with Bruno. I'm going to give him some time. I don't want to keep asking him. I don't want to bother him. So every month I go back. I'm like, hey, Bruno, what about this? And he always replies. He's such a nice guy. Honestly, just follow him. Oh, I'm not going to go on Twitter because it's Kanoriki's. I think it's one of Odin's disciples. It could be, but there's no one mentioned in the mythology to be the Raven Keeper. I don't know. Is Odin. Some things aren't meant to be too deep. Yeah, I get it. But why does he talk to himself in the third person, though? Like, why is he doing all the legwork? I don't know. Yo, Kasim's Shams, thank you so much for becoming a member, dude. Welcome. Yeah, actually, where did the podcast go, mate? We've been waiting aged for the next episode. I'm talking to John Ford right now. Maybe we'll do one for next week, next Friday. And since it's Friday, it'll be, for you guys in the chat. So you guys get to talk amongst yourselves. We're not just going to talk about God of War. John and I want to talk about, especially me, I want to talk about Resident Evil. I want to talk about E3. We want to talk about a bunch of things. And yeah, podcast, I actually want to have like different people and not just God of War people. I don't want my channel just to be God of War. It's always going to be like mainly God of War. But for example, when the next BioShock comes out, I want to have Eric from the BioShock Hub over because he's the BioShock dude. I can go and check him out for you guys. I don't know if you guys have heard of the BioShock Hub. Boop. So yeah, this guy. He does pretty much what I do with BioShock. And I would love to have him over and discuss his story because BioShock is one of my favorite series as well. But yeah, like podcast is I don't really have a schedule of who am I gonna have next or anything like that. So it's whenever I find someone who's interesting enough. But yeah, porque está loco, papo. Maybe, but he doesn't seem like a crazy guy. Thor being half Aesir and half giant, I don't understand why he killed all the giants. There's also indication that he killed his mother, though. I think it was Mike who showed me the thing, but the panel says like, oh, we're thunder. Okay, here lies Fjorgun, something, where the thunder may not reach her. So he might have even killed his own mother. John Ford was in Jaffe's stream. He became a member. Did he really? When? Today? That's awesome, man. The Raven Keeper is Icarus searching for his wings back. Best theory so far. Imagine instead of Jormungandr fighting Thor on his own, he gets help from Atreus and Kratos, allowing him to access Mjolnir and also sending them back to Greek mythology. I just don't think they're gonna go back to past Greek mythology. If anything, it's gonna be current Greek mythology. Because if it's past Greek mythology, I really don't want to see it. I mean, it's just that's what the old games were for. I want to see what the new Greece looks like. BioShock Return? Well, there's a lot of rumors that BioShock is happening in a few years. Like there's gonna be a new game. And I want to see what they do with it. And when it comes out, I'm going to have... what's his name? I forgot his name. All right, the BioShock Hub dude. I forgot his name now. I know I said it before. Yeah. Have you played Resident Evil Village? Yeah, I played it the other day. So I played it for my members as well. It was a really fun game. Where are they? Where's my playthrough? Right there. Yeah. I played over. So if you want to check my reactions to certain parts of the game, you can click on those videos. But yeah. He killed his mother. Atreus says it. Atreus says, did Thor kill his own mother? Yeah, he says it in the notes. Yeah, it's like, is it possible he killed his own mother? And it seems like something he would do. Yeah, he states it as a question, not a statement. So, but it's implied that he did. That's what I mean. Kuba, you need these cat ears 24/7 for your streams. Kanoriki thinking of getting me black ones, I think. So yeah, I might have them soon. He does say it though. He's shockingly questioned it. I have no doubt that he killed his own mom. That's what I mean. It's a question, but by asking that question, it's implying that he did kill his own mother. Yeah. It's a lot of things. It's just. Also, let's go and watch that. Maybe later. I don't know. Also, how's your girlfriend? She's doing good. She's at work right now. Also, I was thinking about different timelines today when making the video, because there's 2 panels of Ragnarok in God of War. At least I can think of that I remember off right now, off the top of my head. There's 2 panels of Ragnarok, and they look different. There's the Alfheim panel of Ragnarok, which has Freya fighting on the side of the Aesir gods, and then they're all fighting against the giants. But in the first mural you open in the game is where you see Tyr fighting by the side of Modi and the giants fighting against the Aesir gods. So I'm thinking, is that like, are these like 2 different timelines? Because I'm pretty sure there are. How about you buy white ones and spray paint a red tattoo on them? That would be cool. That's a good idea, man. That's a good idea. What does it feel like that I'm the only guy who's not hyped about Kratos going back to Greece? I don't know. I mean, some people don't really want that. They want to stay in Greek mythology. Norse mythology. But I don't know. I think it would be cool because it's not just that I love Greek mythology. It's also the fact that it would be the perfect place for Kratos to tell Atreus what he did to his old family. I don't know, like him going back, and then the Greek people reacting, "Oh my God, it's the ghost of Sparta." And then some of them could possibly tell Atreus what he did, and then you get that big story moment, that reveal when Atreus finds out what he did. I think it would be the perfect environment for him to do that. How about... Oh, I'll write that. Kuba, I got a video idea. How about a video about all the tattoos on Baldur, like other people? I might do that. I definitely want him to go back to Greece. Me too, man. And what's up? Yeah. I don't know what's up with... I keep Googling Dark Horse. Am I logged in? Hold on. Because, yeah, I feel like this is a hint. Like, they wouldn't have this for no reason in the comic. Give me a sec. Where are you? Where'd you go? Issue number 2. That's the Athena one, of course. Yeah. This one sucked. No, I'm good. Athena. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's up with this. Athena clearly wants him to go back home. We're not yet through, you and I. Embrace your destiny and fulfill purpose. Destiny, okay. What did you say that? Yeah. Return home, Kratos. Fulfill your destiny. It's still questionable whether this is actually Athena or just something Kratos is thinking about. It doesn't matter. It's written, okay? It seems to be much like Atreus questioning whether Thor killed his mother. This seems to imply that Kratos is eventually gonna go back to Greece. I don't know why though, and I don't know if they're gonna do it in the 4th issue. I'm so disappointed with Fallen God right now. You can't even believe how much. Wait. We need Kratos to return to Suicide Cliffs and say something like, "Now there is no hope." I don't think he'll say that though. It's a little bit too depressing. It's like Doom. It is written. What do you mean like Doom? Just imagine Zeus in Mimir's body. That's how he know who's Kratos? So wait, so you think Mimir is Zeus? Wait, what? How do you explain that? Cap, what do you think of the tweet I sent you regarding the Well of Knowledge and Infinite Timelines? For one thing, I didn't even know the card game was canon, okay? And the thing is, I have those cards. Kanoriki got them to me last Christmas, I think. I haven't really opened them. I opened them once, but I haven't really read them carefully because I don't play cards. But I'm going to have to. Corey seems to think that it's canon. So I'm going to have to go through them now and see what they say. Because, yeah, the Well of Urd containing, like, different timelines. Like, what in the hell? Like, is that going to be... Are they going to the Well of Urd in the next game? It is. Thank you for sending me that, though. Sending me that. I can't speak today. Weird theory, but what if Athena makes a return in Ragnarok, being the key villain in the start of Ragnarok? What if she tells Atreus of Kratos' past, causing Atreus to kill Kratos? I don't think Atreus is going to kill Kratos, because it'll undermine the story of God of War 2018. And I don't want a Greek god or deity to be the villain of the Norse era. I just want them to go to Greece for a little bit. Maybe not even return. Just, I mean, maybe not make it an area where they can keep going back. No, like just a scripted area where you go in just for the story and then you exit out. Just think he knows who Kratos is and the goes to Sparta. That's because Mimir traveled. Mimir says that he headed north when he lived in the Celtic Norseland. I think he's from Celtic mythology. So he traveled. So he met up with a lot of pantheons, I should say. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, God of War Ragnarok has a lot of things to address, or maybe in the third game. I don't know where they're going with. Hey, Cap. What was in the mural in the background when Baldur and Kratos met for the first time? Oh, that was just that was the same mural as the end. Let me show you. Let's see. I guess it's gotta be on YouTube. God of War intro. I think John made a video on it. God of War. Jesus, I can't type. I mean, it's the same mural, only with less details in it. Where is he? Yes, right there. I mean, you can't really see it well here, but that's the giant they fight at the end. It's the same mural as the last, only with less panels in it. Kirby, Mimir knows about Kratos being the ghost of Sparta. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he does, yeah. I won Thor as a boss fight, but Kratos does not win the first fight. That's what I've been saying. I feel like he's gonna lose in the first fight. We have over 150 members. Wow, no, we don't. No, we have people can view the video. Only the members can comment on it. That's the difference. You and John should invite Daniel Besudi on the pod. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. And yeah, with Daniel Besudi, I always get her name mixed up. I always call her Michelle for booty. And it's not her booty. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm getting it mixed up with Kratos' name on the Norse realm, which is Farbote, right? But I always call her Michelle Farbodi. And I can't stop doing that. Yeah, I was playing New Game Plus and I saw that and I felt so stupid for not noticing that sooner. Oh, the mural at the beginning? Yeah, I mean, it's something... It wasn't right away discovered by God of War fans. It took a while for them to realize what it was. Let's watch Captain Kuba. He seems like a cool dude. Have you even played a Batman game? I have. I love the Arkham games, yeah. Which Kratos looked the ugliest to you? Chains of Olympus, for sure. Oh, I mean, are you talking about like graphics wise? Like which one is the worst looking one? Then yeah, it would have to be that one. Yeah, he kind of looked like a monkey. Like his forehead was kind of coming out a little bit. He looked weird. I don't know. But design wise, I don't like the new armors. They just don't look good on Kratos. Except the ones you start off with, like the shoulder pad. That looks good. It doesn't restrict movement for a Spartan. It's amazing. Now I wish it would just be that one. You can also make a video about new Norse characters we can expect in Ragnarok. I don't know if we can expect... I don't know which one we should expect, but I do want to make a video like talking about which ones I want to see eventually. Can you pronounce my name correctly? It's been over half a year, big boy. I'm pretty sure I got it. Stenkot? Septic always says that I'm saying cock or something. Stenkot. So I'm always very careful to say it. Stenkot. I hope Gotham Knights does not come next year. I think it was delayed, wasn't it? 2022? I'm not a big fan of that game. I mean, it doesn't look very good. Did you watch Untangling God of War with the members? No, I haven't. We can watch it now. I've seen it before. But the Untangling God of War, the video is so well edited. I can only hope to edit like this in the future. Like, this just looks amazing. He kind of sounds like the Vati of God of War. I don't know if you guys want to watch this though. It's 30 minutes.
Loki is not an easy character to remove from Norse mythology.
Well, we're not going to watch it. I've seen it already. It's a really good video. I recommend you watch it, Untangling God of War. Just, if you haven't watched it, just go ahead and do it. How many views? It's got 1 million views. Good. I know Corey tweeted it on Twitter, obviously. It's a really good video. Jesus. Okay. When are you playing Shovel Knight and Betrayal for the extra Kratos oomph? I tried getting Betrayal, but I actually got a virus in my computer. I'm gonna have to find a way of actually downloading it safely. But yeah. I only watched 5 minutes. What's it about? It's just him going over the story and the themes of the story and how well the game is written. It's a very well done video. Like it took him a while to make it. Hey, AAA man, what's up? How many God of War games do you think that are going to be after Ragnarok? I think God of War is going to be around for a long, long time. In the Norse era, I think there's going to be at least 3 games in total. So God of War 2018, Fimbulwinter, which is what I think is going to be the next one, and then Ragnarok. But I really think they're going to do like a spin-off series. Not series, a spin-off game with Faye maybe. After that, the series could actually split up. Like, they could have games with Atreus, or they could have games with Kratos. But I think God of War is going to stay alive for a long, long time. Like, it's making Sony a lot of money right now, so there's no reason to kill it from a business perspective. After Egypt, yeah, of course they're gonna do Egypt. Yeah, they're teasing Egypt way too much. I think we should watch some Captain Kuba. I heard his content is really good. I don't know. You know what I was thinking about for doing for my 80,000 special? I was thinking of reacting to my worst theory videos, because there's so many of them, and they're so cringy. Because it was back then when I was trying to be funny in my videos. Oh my god, where's the Eagle one? I'm not going to do it now. But they're just so bad. I don't know how it has 2 million views. This video is the reason why I keep trying to make videos to top it. I'm like, I want a good video to get 1 million views. This one's scrapped. This video does not deserve the 1 million view. It's not fair to the other ones. Do one now. No, I can't do it. It's too cringy. I'll do it for the 80,000 special. I'll do like a top 10. Are there top 10? I mean, I'm sure there's top 10s. The Eagle one, the Time Traveler. Oh god damn it. Some of them are so bad. Also, they could do a spin-off with Demos running around doing Greek biddings. That would be interesting, but I don't think it has a lot of Demos wouldn't sell. At least I don't think it would. Didn't know the stream was going on until just now. Had to hop in and see what's up. Yeah, I mean, we were watching the GDC talk with of Jason McDonald, the design director at Santa Monica Studios. It was very fun. You are still cringy. No, joking. I am cringy. Damn Cuba, 1 million views. How does that feel? I'm telling you, I don't want that video to get 1 million views. It's a really, really bad video, okay? It's so dumb, and I can't believe... What is so attractive about that video? God of War theory. Who is the Eagle? I guess that is it's very clickable because people were asking who's the Eagle when the game came out. Oh my god, the thumbnail's so bad as well. Like it's so simple, but I guess people just liked it. It's like, you will not beat me again. I don't want to watch that. It's so bad. So bad. I mentioned at some point that where Kratos died on God of War 3 is a helipad. And the Eagle picked him up. Oh my god! Thinking about it just makes me want to shoot myself. Okay, this is the worst. And I've seen the video. I don't think it's that bad. It's horrible, man. It's horrible. That's easily the worst one I have. Do it for the 80k special. Yeah, I'll do it. Kanoriki really wants me to do that. I know what the top 2 are. I'm going to have to think what the third one would be. I'm not crazy amazing, but... It's not crazy amazing, but not bad. It's pretty bad. The theory, I pulled it out of my own ass. Okay. And the thing is, I kind of believed it when I wrote it, though. I think the 3 dragons we free are going to be of somewhat useful. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, Corey has said that the dragons were not just those weren't side missions. They're gonna be important in the future. Kanoriki retracted a message. She's watching me. You will not beat me. What did Kanoriki say? I couldn't see. I couldn't see her message. What did she say? I hope that in some way Kratos and Freya somehow make up and work together. They will. Like, if you go to the ending of the game. Oh, god damn it. God of War. Ending. Mia kind of hints about it. You have to be careful. You have to pay attention to what me or all the characters say. Because they kind of hint at things.
Then hell, that is my promise.
He saved your life.
He robbed me of everything.
Others?
Where is it? But yeah, Mimir says, like, give her time, lads. She'll come around. Wow. Yeah, I did the accent wrong. Just listen to it. What? Okay, never mind. But he says that. He's like, oh, just give her time, lads. She'll come around. For the EDK special, he's getting drunk and acting out the events he predicts of God of War 5. It's either that of me reacting to my worst theories. I don't know. What if Thor and Odin kill Kratos, causing Loki to become the driving force behind Ragnarok? It's possible. That's the thing. I don't know if Kratos should die at the beginning or the end of the game. Because like you said, if it happens at the end, that'll turn Atreus into Loki, like the person who actually takes the fights with the gods. So I really don't know. Your Modi video is the worst? Who would say that a weakling baby like Modi is alive? That's okay. The video itself might not be that good, but the discovery itself is the best one in the channel, I think. It is so cool. It is so cool. And you know that's the one I like the most. There's a few more videos that didn't really get that many views and I still like. Of course he would say that he's a sleeper agent for Freya. No, he's not. No, he's not. I can see Sony delaying Ragnarok themselves if there aren't enough PlayStation 5s to sell. So we should really be praying that semiconductors to get made fast. It's all connected, man. The semiconductors. What is that, though? Kuba dresses up as Kratos and gets drunk on mead. Oh, honey, if we do the thing about me getting drunk, like, we have to get mead. We have to do it properly. What if Thor or Odin kills... Oh, I saw it already. Never mind. Honestly, the Modi video is the coolest thing. Now, it's... Captain Kuba. Modi. It's my favorite one because it's the coolest discovery. It's like, it's the thing you least expect, and it's so obviously true. It's like, that is Modi. That's undeniable. It's Modi. Oh, crap. I forgot about this video. Oh, my God. This one wasn't too bad, but it's kind of crazy as well. Modi blew the horn. I forgot about that video. I've done so many videos that I don't even remember. This one's bad as well. Well, I mean, maybe not too bad. I don't know. I don't know. How many videos? I mean... I'm looking now because I don't remember a lot of these videos. Ah, I forgot about this. There's so many bad ones. Oh my god. Hey, Killtech what's up, man? Did you see the new PS5 controllers? Oh yeah, the red one and the black one. I'm not too impressed. They look meh. I don't know. Can you make a tier list for bosses in God of War, but not side bosses? You mean like not enemies? Like a tier list for bosses? I didn't make a tier list, but I ranked them all because I wanted to include them, like, you know, like step by step, like which one would be better than the other one. You have to get drunk on mead, nothing else. Did you like Resident Evil 7 better or Resident Evil 8? I'm still debating that. I don't know. I think ultimately I like Resident Evil 8 a little bit more because of the setting. I didn't like the setting of the 7th game that much. I didn't find it scary or, you know, awesome. I don't know. Without a semiconductor, you can't make a GPU or CPU. Yes. I know what that is. 18th century time traveler, y'all, I'd say. Honestly, I don't know why you guys stuck with me. Like, all the people. I don't know how I made it to almost 80,000 people sub to my channel. My videos were bad. My videos were objectively bad. I feel like it's because YouTube did not have God of War YouTubers back then. And anything would pass, man. But my videos were bad. They were bad. Oh, my God. Your Modi video is the worst. Oh, I already read that. Yeah, I'm not used to not having as many people in the chat now. I'm glad I have that many members now because the chat is somewhat better. Because when I started to to have members, like I would only have like 2 or 3. Kanoriki was my only member, and Stefak was my second one. And I couldn't do like a members only chat, but now I can. Now it's more fun. If you don't drink the Lemian wine and scream, "Ah, I'm deporting you," sounds good. Because you're the best. There is, bro. No lie. You can say that I'm better now, but back then, no. Oh, thank you, Quasms. I mean, you guys are awesome. You're the top God of War YouTuber. From your personality to your theories and everything. Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you, guys. I wasn't really reaching for compliments. That's awesome, man. Are you going to be reading chat this Sunday, Kuba? Sunday? What's happening Sunday? What do you mean this Sunday, though? I'm confused. Oh, Kanoriki. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Kanoriki's going to be playing God of War. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, Kanoriki is currently playing... She's playing the original God of War game, and it was the funniest thing because she got stuck. Where is it? She got stuck in Athens, like just moving a block.
We're just gonna be as freaking close as possible.
It was hilarious just watching this. Hey, Howling Winds, what's up, man?
Hey, Howling Wind. Sorry, I know.
She couldn't make the jump. She stayed in this area for 1 hour.
I would agree with you, yeah.
Okay, see, how did I miss that?
So yeah, this Sunday, just come watch her play that. Play God of War 1. It's super fun. Just go to Kanoriki, and I think she plays at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, them haters be hating. What? Are you gonna be okay? Yeah, I'm gonna be reading the chat, Curtis. Instead of only playing as Kratos, imagine having full access to both. To both. That way, Kratos doesn't have the blades. Axe and Mjolnir. That way Atreus could have short and long distance combat. I don't know how that would I don't know how that would change the combat too much, man. Maybe that'll be for the next take on the series, but right now they're gonna stick with the philosophy of the game. They're not gonna change too many things. On the tier list, why did you put weapons as magic attacks? Because which weapons? I mean, like the Golden Fleece. Because the Golden Fleece is not a weapon and it's not a magic attack. It's somewhere in the gray area, I think. So, yeah. It was impossible, yo. So, Kuba, those big vampire mummy milkers, those massive... What the hell? Like, you just wrote that message just to say, like come up with fancy names for boobs. Nice. What about them, though? You are the best channel about God of War theories, Lobby. Thank you so much, man. Awesome. The game's busted, not her fault. It's interesting seeing her play it because she really hasn't played it before, and I don't really have issue with this because I know this game like I know myself.
The God of War games for now. I did God of War 1,
but she was struggling with it, and I can see that the camera would be an issue if this game gets remade, and the camera's not changed. The camera needs to be changed because look at this. She's struggling.
This is the most frustrating thing in my life. They didn't have to make this so frustrating.
It's the camera angle.
But see, that's just it. They could have fixed it, and they didn't. I don't understand.
She is legit mad.
See, at this point, I'd give up. But see, because I'm so close to it, I'm just like, nah, I want to get it. And the rest of the stream is going to be me trying to get these 2 chests, and I'm dead serious about that. And I'm sorry if you guys think that's sucky. I'm sorry.
It was just so funny. Like, you were there.
But anyway, is it Kanoriki or Kanarugi? It's Kanaruhi. So, check it out. Yeah. Kanaruhi. There it is. On the boat in Helheim, was the flashback with Kratos still having the Golden Fleece intentional? I don't think it was. I wouldn't think too much about that. I can't, because what would be the theory, though? The theory would be that, there were different timelines in the God of War 3 era. I don't think they're going to go with that. 2 p.m. Central Time and 3 p.m. Yeah, I already said it, honey. But 3 p.m. Eastern Time, we're gonna be she's gonna be playing God of War on her channel. On the boat in Helheim, I read that. Wait until she arrives at the later levels. Oh, she's gonna have a nightmare, honey. Cover your ears. Ready? Okay. She's gonna have a nightmare in Pandora's Temple. That's gonna be so much fun to watch with all the traps. You can listen now. You can listen now. You should show the part that you died laughing and I nearly killed you. I forgot when did that happen though? When did that happen?
And the rest of the stream is going to be me trying.
I think you just gave me like a super evil look. Scrolling through. I think it was there. Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Wait, the floor's gonna fall.
The floor's gonna fall.
What?
No. Okay, this is when she actually got it to work.
Go for it. Go for it. I'm fine with that. And clip that picture. Clip it when you're just like laughing at me. I was about to kill you with my face. All right.
I think she does it now. Hold on.
Somebody clip this and give it to David Jaffe. And I just want to no context. Just clip it. This whole thing. And send David Jaffe and be like, Returnal's difficult game. And then just send him a full like speed like take.
I think this is when she falls now. Like I was planning a jump for 5 minutes, but double jump wrong and just fell like a rock. Yeah, she did the double jump while she was going down. Hold on, I think it's.
Take all the clips.
I really don't remember when she does it though.
Like fast forward it to make like a 30 second like clip of me just like doing this for like 2 hours or whatever. Have like a timer at the top and be like.
She's legit raging
hard,
right now.
What about this game? And then go from there. All right, here we go. Have I done it?
Honestly, I'll make it into one of my videos. I'll be like Kanoriki failing to get 2 chests for 2 hours.
Go for it. Go for it. I'm fine with that. And clip that picture. Clip it when you're just like laughing at me. I was about to kill you with my face.
I don't know when I did that.
Okay, here we go. Yes! Freaking yes!
Congrats. All right. Hold on. If you don't mind me asking, how long have you been with Conan? Oh, I forgot. I think it's been 3 years. Kanoriki, 3 or 2 years? I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm good with dates. My question is, the door is open. Why is she jumping? LOL. No, because she wants to get the chest. She saw the chest, and I know now that next time she plays, I'm not gonna tell her where there's secret chests, because she just gets obsessed with them. Like, I'm gonna get that chest if it's the last thing I do. And thanks to me, she spent in that area. She was there for an hour, and it was all because of me. Well, she actually saw it by herself. But yeah. Have you watched God of War: Almost a Masterpiece? A critique of God of War 4 by Joseph Anderson? I haven't. I think I've been meaning to watch that one. No, I definitely have not seen this one. It's 3 hours long. We can watch it together as a... Jesus, it's 3 hours though. We can watch it together for another members-only live stream if you guys want to. No, I was there for an hour because the game is janky. You're janky. Are the Clouds of Hades magic attacks? They have magic attacks, but they're weapons. I'm talking about mechanics-wise, they're weapons. Hold on. I think I'm missing a comment here. Watch the moron with the title at? I don't know what that is. What? How God of War was ruined? How God of War was ruined. Oh, wait. Oh, I haven't seen this either. Oh, this should be fun. Why God of War was ruined. This one? Oh, no, that's part 2. Never mind. Okay. This is the one I've seen. I thought it was... Okay.
Armed with the strength of revenge and the blades of chaos, Kratos slayed Ares and claimed his rightful place as the God of War.
We had a character that the history of this character is so well known by people that we wanted to expand him, show a different side.
It's a reimagining, right?
Brutal, nasty, violent, antisocial, pissed off, angry, fuck you. That was my...
Yeah, because that's not what God of War 2018 is. You know, it's very slow. It's just, it sucks. It's just...
My direction to
Kratos is a loving person. You know, he's just like, oh, I like the world. No, he's still the same guy.
Come into work and get angry and see what happens.
You really got to shake it up.
I know you're a dad and you're trying to get into a father-son dynamic here. Are you trying to make us cry with God of War?
You know, something
that humanizes him. And so that was, we tried the whole baby idea with kind of like the lone wolf and cub, and figured, okay, we can't do a baby because we can't have a baby getting injured or anything like that. So
can the kid get killed via gameplay?
No.
But if he did, like, Kratos is kind of used to that by now.
Yes.
That's what I mean. He's taking it out of context. It's like, oh, we didn't have a baby. We didn't want to have a baby in game because we didn't want to injure it. I saw the whole interview, and it's like, yeah, it wouldn't pass. Sony would not sell a game where you could kill a baby. It's not gonna happen. And also, Atreus is a formidable, tiny warrior, like you saw in the gameplay thing. Like he knows how to fight. But yeah, God of War Ruined doesn't come in the same book together. Yeah, in the same sentence, you mean? Whoa, I'm already got a lot of deleted message. My heart hurts from reading that title. Oh, he's Jaffe. Yeah, Jaffe's very upfront. He's like, God of War's F you, if that. That rapid 100 fire questions review has been a gem related to the next game synod. That's a good video. I love that video. Why am I sitting sideways? It's only 6 minutes long, but
You'll have to see.
Was Atreus conceived via minigame?
He was a product of the union of love, not a minigame.
Is Atreus going to be annoying?
No.
Okay, but seriously, like, what's the thing he's going to say that we're all just going to be like, again?
Yatta!
Does this game contain a powerful message about the importance of abstinence?
Yatta! Yes.
Can the kid get killed via gameplay?
No.
But if he did, like, Kratos is kind of used to that.
See what I mean? Like, you can't really take all of his answers here seriously, because some of them are serious, but Atreus never says "Yatta," and the game does not teach you anything about abstinence. So I don't know, when he talks about immortality, you have to be.
No.
It seems like he's serious, but then again, you know.
Corey Balrog.
Oh, good lord. Millions.
I used to call him Corey Balrog by accident.
Scale of 1 to 10, how surprising is this game going to be?
10.
Does Kratos kill Norse gods?
Maybe.
Wasn't the world super destroyed at the end of God of War 3?
The Greek world, yes.
Did Kratos leave all of his old weapons in Greece?
You'll find out.
If you had to guess, how many people has Kratos killed?
3,432.
Is Kratos still a god?
Yes.
Immortal?
Yes.
So yeah, he says there he's immortal, and he doesn't seem to be joking. But it's kind of hard to tell, because some of the questions is like, oh, Atreus will say "Yatta," and he never does. But yeah, he nodded and said no to what? This Game Informer video is a masterpiece. It's really good. It's really funny. When they changed the single shot camera angle, that's pretty funny.
You'll have to see.
Was Atreus conceived via minigame?
He was a product of the union of love, not a minigame.
Is Atreus going to be annoying?
No.
Okay, but seriously, like, what's the thing he's going to say that we're all just going to be like, again?
Yatta!
Does this game contain a powerful message about the importance of abstinence?
Yes.
Can the kid get killed via gameplay?
No.
But if he did, like, Kratos is kind of used to that by now.
Yes.
Maybe
Does
equals
his son
yes.
know why
That's a good guideline.
Kratos is ash white?
No.
Overall, would you call this a hard game?
To make or to play?
To play.
Can be, if you want it to be.
Name one thing harder than making this game.
Childbirth.
Is that bit from E3 2016 still in the game?
Yes, but different.
What percentage of the game do you spend on a boat?
25 to 30%.
Does the axe have a name?
Leviathan.
Does the axe chop down trees?
You actually chop a tree down in the game.
Can you chop down any tree in the game?
Not any tree, let's not get crazy.
Let's not get crazy. Some answers are clearly Corey Barlog humor. They are. That's what I mean. Like, yeah.
Their son story.
The road.
Is the ash that covers Kratos fading over time?
A little bit.
Okay.
See, what does he mean by that? That one seems to be one of the serious ones. The ash seems to be fading a little bit. I always wonder that. What does he mean by that? He doesn't seem to be joking about that. Why would he joke about that? How could it fade away? It's a curse. It's a magical curse. I don't get it. Also, you gotta feel good for Atreus, and he didn't have to be raised like Kratos in Sparta. Yeah, he wouldn't be the same as Kratos. So I like the character of Atreus. What does he mean by that? The ashes are fading slightly.
Ash that covers Kratos fading over time?
A little bit.
Okay.
He seems so serious. I don't think he's joking there.
I'm going to convey a series of...
Let's not get crazy. Kratos instead takes 3 and impales Baldur. True. With smirk tone in the answer. Kinda,
Emotions.
Yeah.
Okay. And you tell me if Kratos feels them in the game.
Okay. Probably not as good as you just did, but yes. Literally the exact same pose. No.
When Kratos came here, did he have to learn the language?
He speaks probably just as few of the Scandinavian words, Old Norse words, as I do, which is 2.
Then how does he talk to his son?
Just like my son, he speaks English and Swedish.
Could you shorten that answer up a little bit?
Yes.
So is there like a defined border between the old pantheon and this pantheon?
The Greek pantheon and the Norse pantheon, yeah.
So is there any sort of like border control?
It's actually one of the Skarsgårds.
So Atreus...
It's actually one of the what? What did he say there? Hold on. What did he say there? Because he's talking about border control.
Yeah.
So is there any sort of like border control?
It's actually one of the Skarsgårds.
One of the Skarsgårds? Okay, do you guys know what he means by that? He's asking him, like, is there any sort of border control?
The old pantheon and this pantheon.
The Greek pantheon and the Norse pantheon, yeah.
So is there any sort of like border control?
So is there any sort of border control? I can get that. Like, you know, they're defending the borders. And then he says...
It's actually one of the Skarsgårds.
It's actually one of the Skarsgårds. Do you guys know what he means by that? Am I missing something? Maybe in Fallen God 4, we'll get an explanation on that ash fitting away thing. Hopefully, yeah. Skarsgårds? I think that's a reference to Battlestar Galactica or something, I don't know. Skarsgårds? Because he says it really fast. Skarsgårds? No, that's not it. There's not... he just says it so fast that the closed caption is not even picking it up. Skarsgård's Kuba, it's Swedish actors? It's his humor? Hold on, wait, what?
Then how does he talk to his son?
Just like my son, he speaks English and Swedish.
I went too
Could
fast.
you shorten that answer up a little bit?
Yes.
So is there like a defined border between the old pantheon and this pantheon?
The Greek pantheon and the Norse pantheon, yeah.
So is there any sort of like border control?
It's actually one of the Skarsgårds.
Oh, I got it. Okay, I got it. Okay. I got it. Yeah, okay, so the border controls are the family. It's one of this. Yeah, okay. Look, so he's saying that it is a joke, but he said it so seriously that I wasn't sure what he said. Okay. So this guy's name is Stellan Skarsgård. So he's saying that he's the border the border control in the realm. That's pretty funny. I didn't realize that. Okay.
So Atreus gets stronger and helps you out more throughout the game.
Yes.
Will the old theme music play at any point?
No.
Is this the biggest shakeup to the formula since that God of War mobile game?
God of War Betrayal. Oof, that one really did shake it up too. Yes.
That one did really shake it up. I didn't get it, man. I'm just getting it now. It's one of the Skarsgårds.
Are there any voice actors from the series reprising their roles?
Yes.
Kevin Sorbo?
That would be so awesome, but no.
So I'm just going to list Norse gods.
Okay.
And you react however you want.
Okay.
Odin.
Dope.
Loki.
Super dope.
Freya.
I love her.
Chris Hemsworth.
Dreamy.
Heimdall.
Good beer.
So if Kratos like grew his hair out, where would his hairline be? And stop me when I get there.
Right there. He'd have that sweet straight line across.
What is your favorite Mad Max film?
Fury Road. By a
Bro, the closed caption said Atreus? Wait, Atreus? What do you mean? No, it didn't. Oh, I don't know at what point though. But this closed captions read Scars Cards. I'm like, what is he talking about? I didn't know the actor though.
A large margin.
So you're a bit of a film nerd?
Gigantic.
What 1990s film poster featured the slogan, "His story will touch you, even if he can't"?
Powder?
Edward Scissorhands. Is Atreus part god?
Yes.
Can we do this interview like one long continuous shot like the game?
That would be amazing.
Is gore inherently cool?
Only if contextualized properly, yes.
Title screen, just giant Kratos head?
No.
Why not? I never got
Kratos
that. Why not? I always liked that about the original games because it'll be so immersive. They would just zoom out. I'm like, oh god, the game started even before it started. I don't know. instead of Atreus. What? My mom loves Atreus. She finds him really cute and badass at the same time. He's a cool dude. I like him.
It's a spanker?
Of his children? No.
If you had to... no, wait, this is
that
hard.
one messed
This is
you up,
hard.
didn't it?
This is
You were
hard.
like, I didn't expect
No.
that.
Okay, let's go back to normal.
And now we're at a lock-off shot, much more comfortable.
What is one word that Kratos has never said and will never say?
Tuck.
Are there going to be like live action commercials for this one?
Not if I can help it.
Is there a map in the game?
Yes.
What's the most underrated Sony game?
War of the Monsters.
Are there a lot of NPCs in this game?
Yes.
Do they have some weird nickname for him, like Snowskin or something?
Yes, they have a nickname. Not Snowskin. Though I'm now going to steal that.
So what is that nickname?
Not going to tell you.
When you get like a...
That's the ogre, I think. What he's referring to is the ogre. Because even in the E3 demo, God of War E3. This hangout thing is really fun. I'm just geeking out with you guys. The troll calls him something.
Back away, boy!
At least I think he does. He clearly says Valhalla. Like, people thought he said, like, I'm gonna send you to Valhalla or something. I agreed with Corey. I love that game. War of the Monsters. I've never played it, though. What's it about?
5-hit combo, you know it kind of looks like the word shit, right?
Maybe that's why we don't have a combo counter anymore. We don't like seeing shit on screen.
Of all the families Kratos has had, where does this one rank?
Number 1.
Does Kratos ever just like get drunk and brag about all those gods he killed?
We stopped drinking.
If you had to add a subtitle of this game, what would it be?
God of War. I really don't want to add a subtitle.
Are there quick time events in this game?
No.
Did the name Kratos
No.
evolve into the name Curtis?
Curtis? No.
Did you play Hellblade?
Yes.
Did you like it?
I love it. It's amazing.
Will I ever slide a box around in this game?
You personally?
Will players have to slide boxes?
Could you describe the box?
Maybe 4 feet by 4 feet.
Never that specific box.
Is Kratos ever going to come to the modern day where money is our god?
Yes.
See, I don't think that's true, though. The question itself is a joke. I don't think that's gonna happen. God of War in modern time would not work. We should do these hangouts more. We definitely should, man. These are really fun.
Kratos know Aloy?
Not yet.
Does Kratos know Kinetica?
Of course.
What color will the PS4 controller light be?
Many.
Does Kratos remember the Titans?
Wow.
Can you customize Kratos' facial hair at all?
Sadly, no.
Did you see that movie, Gods of Egypt, and think like, ugh, I'm really glad we didn't go with Egypt?
I looked at that and went like, that is exactly what I had in mind. Get out of my head.
Wouldn't Kratos like be happier with a warm hat?
Like an LA hipster?
25 to 35 hours long, but what about speedrunners?
They don't count. Because they'll beat it in 2.
Really?
I
2?
have no idea. I don't think it can be done in 2, but saying that means someone's going to find some way to do that.
So challenge officially issued is what you're saying.
Gauntlet thrown down. Let's do this.
Can I play this game with just one move controller?
I don't think so.
Are God of War Ascension's multiplayer servers still up?
I have no idea.
He doesn't even know. They are up. And it's actually faster to get players in if you play it through PlayStation Now on PS5. I tried playing it on PlayStation 3 a while back, and it was a nightmare to get a few people to play. Sorry, where was I?
Is Kratos a good dad?
Yes.
Is your localization team making a Portuguese God of War?
I have no idea.
Are there going to be like wacky unlockable costumes again?
Depends on your definition of wacky.
Are there going to be unlockable costumes again?
Yes.
Have you played through the entire game at this point?
Many, many, many times.
Like start to finish, one sitting?
Oh, one sitting. Come on now. What am I, crazy? I don't have that kind of time.
Did you enjoy Thor Ragnarok?
I haven't seen it yet.
Do you like this game more than God of War 2?
Did you enjoy what? Oh, the movie. Okay, Thor Ragnarok. Okay.
Yes. But ask me after I release it, and then I'll say no.
Can Kratos double jump?
Double dump?
Double jump?
Double jump. No. He left.
There's actually an Infinity Gauntlet in the game. Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah, I do know that. It's one of the coolest Easter eggs, I think, in my opinion. Like, you pick up the stones. Yeah, it's really cool.
That in Greece.
With his weapons?
I can either confirm or deny that.
Are there objective markers?
In what way?
Is there a flashing icon on the screen telling you where you need to go?
If you want it.
Does Kratos have big old stomach scars?
One big one.
Are there a lot of puzzles in this game?
Yes.
Side quests?
We don't call them that. But yes.
Does this thing run fine on just like the base level PS4?
Yes.
Is there any chance Athena's making a cameo? What's your birthday?
The day I was born.
What day is Valentine's Day?
February 14th.
When is this game coming out?
When it's done.
We'll just edit those together then.
February 14th suddenly. Damn it.
I forgot about the ending of the video. That was pretty good. Thor Ragnarok, coincidence? I think not. Thor Ragnarok is a pretty good movie. But anyways, I think I'm going to end it here, guys. It has been quite fun. Next Friday, I think I'm going to get John to do another podcast with me. Of course, we'll talk about God of War, but I think we're going to talk about other things like E3, Resident Evil. So it'll be more like a gaming discussion, I guess. So it'll also be, if it's on Friday, it'll also be for members only. So you guys can chat amongst yourselves. But yeah, honestly, thank you, all of you guys, so much. Especially the new members that came in today. You guys are awesome. And yeah, all of you for supporting me monthly. You guys are the reason I can call YouTube my job, you know. Even though it's really fun to do. My life is too easy, man. But you guys are awesome, man. It's been real. Be easy, my friend. Tweet Danielle. Can't hurt. She can reject me. Like every woman has. But anyways, thank you all of you guys, all of my members. And thank you all to like and share my videos. You guys are awesome as well. And I'll see you guys Monday for a continuation of Sekiro. Sorry, I'm doing this out of order. Tomorrow I will not be uploading a video. I didn't have enough time to finish the one I'm doing on today. So it most likely will be uploaded on Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. It's about the realms. I think it's pretty cool because it's much longer than my usual ones. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And until then, remember, go forth in the name of the delayed Ragnarok. Sorry to tell you.